Before we begin today's podcast, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Everyone's favorite time of year is right around the corner, college football season. To celebrate, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new players in the center of the action with $200 in free bets instantly if you bet $1 or more on any college football game. Take advantage of this limited time offer now. You heard right. DraftKings is giving all new players $200 in free bets instantly if you place one bet of $1 or more on any college football game, no matter what. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and check out all of the great promotion and daily odd boosts that they are offering. DraftKings Sportsbook is safe, secure, and reliable, and located right here in the United States, so it's easy to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN to receive $200 in free bets when you place $1 bet on any college football game. Again, that's promo code THPN to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, and Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me again, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there is no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
And with us today, special guest, IslesGirl3, Kim. You can find her on all the social media links that we have linked in the description below. How are you, Kim?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. I see this time you came and you've got the lipstick on. You're all decked out. I see Grumpy's got his little his war paint on also.
Yeah.
It's college. Well, last time Kim was on, she came unprepared. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't read her the riot act or anything like that, but I kind of intimated you're going to have to up your game a little bit because I came ready. And today I figured, you know what? I did not know Kim was going to come prepared. I should have assumed it, but I didn't. I never make that assumption on my guests. But I said, you know what? I still had a little bit of lipstick left. I said, let me pop it on. I said, but since it's college football season and DraftKings get you that 200 if you want on the 1 to 200, whatever it is. I said, it's college football season. Let me put on the war paint. We're ready to go.
Hold on. Serious question. I'm going to get Kim to weigh on this. You said you had a little bit of lipstick left. You only wore the lipstick once, right, Grump? How much lipstick comes in a tube, Kim?
A lot, actually. What you've been doing in your free time, Grumpy?
Okay, here's the thing. Actually, I have plenty of the blue left, plenty of that. But the orange comes because, here's the thing. I don't know a whole lot about lipstick. I don't. So everything I learned from Kim watching her commercials. So, and I saw that she had like the little paint on. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the paint on, looking for colors. I'm like, the paint on is what she used. Okay, I'm going to get that. But I used it once and I haven't used it since. Well, maybe I have, but only special occasions. But I haven't used it since, and it dried up in there. So it was kind of like, oh, I don't know. So, but I still have plenty of the blue. So
there we go.
I thought we were about to catch you doing something, Grumpy, that you wanted to keep secretive, but fair enough.
That's why we don't let you do the thinking portion of this podcast.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
How's Kim sound?
How's my mic, TJ? How am I doing?
He sounds good. Kim
sounds great. Her sounds great. Anything Kim says is great. How's my sound, TJ?
It sounds all right, Grump.
Yeah,
room for improvement.
Yeah, there you go. Because everything that goes wrong with this podcast, even when it doesn't, is always my fault.
Oh, Grumpy.
We could have a guest commit murder, and somehow it'd be my fault.
It sounds like you got some sour grapes going on right now, Grump.
It's maybe your little sleep shirt that you're wearing here.
My sleep shirt?
I mean, why don't you?
It's like a Tommy Bahama.
Why don't you button it up?
It's a mood.
It doesn't have a top button, Grump. We've discussed this, man.
Use a pin. Use a safety pin. I just expect you to come dressed to the show.
Oh, my God.
Not like the TJ and Grumpy Old Man show, which is on Sunday nights at 8-ish and Thursday nights at 9-ish. TJ time, of course.
Yeah, and that's
TJ
all
and the grumpy old man, where you usually just wear a tank top or no shirt or whatever it is that you show up in. Which I think that drives away people, but hey, who knows?
You think that drives away listeners and viewers? They have a sense that I'm wearing a tank top, and they say, "Oh, that guy wearing that tank top on that podcast, I can't stand him."
Well, it's not if they can't stand you, not because you wear the tank top, it's just listening to you drives them away.
That's why I figured, but I thought you were intimating here maybe the tank top. I'm like, I think you're aiming it the wrong direction, Grump.
No, I will say this though. Kim looks spectacular today, and she actually makes me look bad. I'm going to say, I mean, that's all I can say. TJ, not so much, but So.
Is that a Jean-Gabriel Pageau shirt or jersey you've got on?
It is number 44, Jean-Gabriel Pageau. My boy, I love him.
Now, who's your old flame on the Islanders? I remember his name.
Old flame.
Yeah, your old flame, right? All of a sudden now, Casey Zizekas, I don't know. He's not signed with the team. We're going to go with JG Pageau. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
It's my Bolduc. I was looking for him. I was wondering if I had the jersey over here, but I got Barzy and Bolduc.
You've already got a Samuel Bolduc jersey.
Oh yeah.
Let's see it.
It was before they changed the logo to the shitty one.
Well,
sorry.
Thank goodness.
Don't mind. Oh, okay. Are you trying to tell me you don't like the new Bridgeport logo? The one with the
tell me a person who does.
Oh goodness.
And he wears my favorite number, so that's like.
There are people in the Helen Keller Institute that do find that logo appealing.
Oh goodness gracious, Grumpy.
But yeah, I love Samuel, and I can't wait to see him as an NHLer. I really think he's going to stand out as a nice defenseman.
TJ, do you know who Helen Keller is?
Yeah, I know who Helen Keller is.
Who is she? She's dead.
She had a journal back.
Did you say Helton?
Helen Keller. I'm thinking Anne Frank. Helen Keller. Helen Keller's blind and deaf. I don't know what time period she lived in, but I know she's got that going for her, or going against her. Better way to put it.
Yes, that's right. Helen Keller was blind and deaf, and it was the early, I want to say either early 1900s, I want to say.
Yeah, that being
late 1800s, something like that.
My mom used to teach The Miracle Worker, but I never really got in-depth knowledge about Helen Keller.
I just like to hit TJ with questions that are a little bit before his time to see what his educational level is and how he stalled there. He probably looked up Helen Keller. That's probably what he did because he didn't know.
I try. I've got to try to stall anytime you ask me one of those hard-hitting questions, Grump. Well, let's jump right on into it.
Kim, I have one question for you. If you ever drink on your podcast? I'm not saying you get.
Oh yeah, we do a thing every week. I'll bring a Snapple bottle. If you guys don't know, Snapple on the bottom of the cap always has a little Snapple fact. And so I'll start the podcast by opening it up and reading that fact of the day because, you always got to learn something new every day. So I read a little sample fact.
I tell you, I like this girl. I've always liked her. From the first time I talked to her, I like her. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, after you crack open the cap and you have yourself a little drink, what do you do next? Do you put the cap back on?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
You don't know cap it?
I see we gotta. Here's the thing. I know I'm a klutz, and I know if I leave that cap open, it's going everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. TJ is a klutz, doesn't think he is, and he knocks it all over the floor.
I only do that once.
Has to come and clean it up during the podcast.
He's my buddy. He's my buddy in California. He does sports broadcasting, and every time he'll knock his water all over his keyboard.
I mean, come on, people, wake up.
One time, Grumpy.
It's always hot shot. Hey, look at me. I'm TJ. I can breathe and take a drink at the same time. Whoops! Down it goes.
I need popcorn. This is amazing.
Grump is an attraction all by himself, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm a sideshow attraction. One of those things you see in the freak show. That's me.
That's why he's got the makeup.
That's right. I was going to go really all out, but I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I love it. Well, Kim,
understated is the best way to be.
I want to ask Kim a few questions because Grump, I feel like I've picked your brain on a lot of things almost the entire offseason long. And I always like trying to get some new perspective and new points of view from everybody. Again, different perspectives. Now, Kim, I want you to grade our offseason so far as to what we've done. We've broken it down into 3 sections. kind of what you're looking at in the draft, what we've done in clearing cap, and what we've done so far regarding free agency, and what may happen as well.
Mhm.
What are you looking about, Grump?
Man, get off the freaking fence. Why don't you ask a one question instead of saying, how do you think we've done so far or in the future? Because it's like, no, the question is what we've done so far.
Okay, Grump. What have we done so far? How have you liked our offseason, Kim? Is that better, Grump? You like when I keep it that flat line?
I do.
If you take it and you split it into what we still have to do with signings and trades, and from what we have done so far, the Adam Pelech signing, the draft, and even today with the Atu Ratu signing, and just future news that I'm seeing of like how we've cleared cap space, and how they said today in the rumor mill via David Packnoda, we're trying to clear cap space by getting rid of Leo Komarov, which but honestly, with all of those signings, I've been honestly really happy with what we've been able to do. It kind of hurts to lose, a solid defenseman like Nick Leddy, and it hurts to lose someone like Jordan Eberle, but it's kind of was necessary for cap situations and what we have to do to get all our players to be signed and to possibly bring over someone like Tarasenko. So honestly, if I had to give it anything, I'm happy with what we've done so far. I'd slap an A on there. I think the Pelech contract was really good.
Hope knows why I'm smiling.
What? I'm smiling?
I know you don't have it an A right now.
No, I don't. You're right. I don't have an A because the way I look is what we've actually done. So far, what have we done? We re-signed one of our free agents. We lost a top 4 defenseman. We lost a top line wing, and we drafted. And I thought our draft was pretty good. So I give us a C right now. Now, at the end of the day, once we start sending some other people back, the grade's going to go up.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, we sign an F- like Kyle Palmieri to a 5-year deal at $5 million per, or we sign Casey Zizekas back to a 6-year contract.
Kim gonna like that.
I know Kim likes that just because.
I get shit on by my brother all the time for because that's the problem is like you're a fan, you're biased, you want to see like your favorite player come back, and you don't care. I don't care the AAV for Casey, but I get where you're coming from. He's a 4th liner. He's not. Here's the problem with that. It's like, yes, he's technically a 4th liner, but he does more than what a 4th liner does on any other team. Like my friend who's a Maple Leafs fan literally said that Casey Zizekas he thinks is one of the best 4th line centers in the whole entire league, and he's essential on PK. He's essential in just effort. Getting team morale up, and also just getting the puck into the zone. He's one of the only players sometimes when the team is just not unified to just get the puck towards the net and actually make things happen for this team.
Yes. I mean, see, that's why it's good to have Kim on here. Some of TJ's little honk buddies that he brings on, just, they don't look at things in a realistic fashion. They don't. And, you're just a breath of fresh air. I'm used to just speaking with TJ. That's just miserable most of the time. It really is. So it's nice having you here, like I said. But I'll just expound once again. Like I said, it all depends on what they do, who they bring back,
yes,
and if they can get, I think, which is maybe close to the final piece, which is a Tarasenko. Mm-hmm. I think that gives us the impetus because I don't know. I think we maybe spoke before that I didn't think we were good enough to win the Stanley Cup. But I think if you added Tarasenko, I think that gives us the extra added element.
Yes.
That along with Tampa Bay losing a lot of their players, maybe that gets us over the hump. And that's what I'm thinking. But now I'm saying if we don't, I just see a repeat of last year. And that's why I call up my boy Shampoo Lou Lamoriello. Just wash, rinse, repeat the same thing year after year. We must make improvements to this team if we want to win a Stanley Cup. And that's all I care about.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. We were one sniper away, I think, from winning that Stanley Cup.
And you would think we maybe even had one sitting up in the press box eating popcorn when we had Travis Zajac and Lollipop Komarov down there masquerading as hockey players. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, just a little confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you are in the belief, though, long story short, we have to do something to add an additional sniper, some piece to go ahead and put us over the top.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's exactly what we needed. I mean, to lose by 1 goal in game 7 is bad enough. To have it be like a shorthander, something where you could, it was just so easy to get back. It was so easy to just get back, get in the game, get your head set. We came back from, that deficit in game 6, like we had it's something that a Stanley Cup team should have been able to do, and they didn't. I don't know what happened. We broke down as a team, as a unit too. It felt like, and getting in the slot area, I have to give it to the Lightning. They did not allow any of our chances to get into that slot area. They were great shutdown to where we were just stuck to the outsides. And it was hard to watch. I just feel like if we just had maybe one more person, like you said, Wallstrom was up there, I would have killed to see him down there playing with it. I really would have loved to see him, because I feel like maybe, who knows, maybe he could have been the game changer. You don't know. That's the what ifs are what kill you about this team. It's the what ifs. And if we get another sniper, there shouldn't be no more what ifs. It's now we have it. Let's execute it.
Let me ask you a question. Was this the worst? Do you feel that this year's playoff loss to Tampa was worse than last year?
Yes, absolutely.
Was this the worst since, now you're younger than I am, okay? I know people looking, it's hard to believe, like, grumpy old man, you look so great, even at your advanced age. Maybe they're very, very close in age, but believe me, we're not. So I just want to know if this was the worst playoff loss this time for you as a fan since you've been watching the Islanders.
Yes, absolutely. Easiest thing to say yes to, because it's, you know what, you said you don't think we were good enough to beat the Lightning, and there were moments where I was like, oh yeah, we were not good enough, but there were moments though where we outplayed them. The ice was tilted in the Islanders' favor, and those games, like, they were ours, and you could see us out. We were the better team at some points, and a lot of even games we lost sometimes I was like, the Islanders played better. So you know what, this one hurt, number one, because I think that was basically your Stanley Cup final. I think any one of those Eastern Conference teams would have wiped the Habs. I'm sorry, Habs fans, but I really think it was either the Lightning or the Islanders were going to just take that cup off that game. So it was kind of like you lost in your Stanley Cup final, because I do believe if the Islanders went on, they would have been Cup champs. And just because, you know what, last year I was like, you know what, the Lightning deserved it. We scraped by to get those 6 games. They were the better team. I bow out gracefully because they were the better team. This year, I can't really say that. I think there were really moments where the Islanders shined, and we had our moments better than the Tampa Bay Lightning, where I think we could have been Stanley Cup champs. And that's what hurts the most, is that I saw this team being a Stanley Cup team.
If you're talking worst loss for me, I don't think I wasn't really I was obviously upset. A team I hate losing to more than any other, I think it's because of the cast and crew. 2013, we lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That was the worst loss because I cannot stand Sidney Crosby. I cannot stand Malkin. Again, I think he's a chippy shit, but there's certain players on that team that always just drive me insane. And, as long as we're not losing to Pittsburgh, I'm a happy guy. Grumpy's got his Flyers, and mine was 2013 against Pittsburgh.
And everyone who listens to podcasts knows the most crushing loss for me was Toronto in the quarterfinals in 1978. We were the best team in the league. Yeah. And to me, that's even worse. To me, I didn't think we were as good as Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was the best team in the league. So it doesn't bother me if you lose to a better team. Now, if you lose to a team that's worse than you, like if we would have, let's say we would have beaten Tampa and lost to Montreal, that would have bothered me.
Yeah, that would have hurt. That would have been kind of embarrassing, no joke.
Yeah. I just, like I said, to me, Toronto, I still see Lanny McDonald scoring that goal in my sleep sometimes. I wake up in a cold sweat. It's terrible.
Now, were you at Game 6, Kim?
Oh, yes. I vlogged it. I have a whole vlog of the entire, and you know what? I wasn't going to vlog it at first because I'm like, you know what? Just to sit down, enjoy the experience, because this could be at that moment the last game in Nassau Coliseum. But I went, you know what? It could be the last game in Nassau Coliseum. Let me vlog this so I can always remember this game. And it turned out to be one of the best game experiences of my life. I mean, you have a 2-0 deficit late into the second period to, Eberle, then Mayfield, to come back into that game. And then watching Beauvilliers score a minute into OT. I mean, I was almost in tears. Like people to have the experience of just people around you don't know. You're hugging each other. You're like crying in each other's arms, jumping up and down. Like after the game, just hugging, you're high-fiving people you don't even know. You're all like celebrating together. It's something you can't put into words. And you guys know the electric feeling of the Coliseum, that the goosebumps, like as you heard, like one of the biggest things that I love about hockey in games like that is the roar of the crowd when that goal is scored. That, like when Bo scored, if you go back and watch a replay, the roar of the entire crowd is what really just hits here, and why rewatching that play, or even Tavares in 2016, scoring that last second goal, or just things like that, still just like put tears into your eyes, because you just remember that feeling, and you remember, just being with loved ones and people around you and enjoying those moments.
I tell you, and for those who don't know, vlog, for people my age, is short for video log. Is that correct, DJ?
Correct.
It is. I'm glad you're breaking that down, Grump, because I'm glad you knew what it was.
I'm here to educate. That's what I'm here for. And, also, I remember, before both of your times, I remember when the Islanders won the first Stanley. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, watching it. I was watching it in my parents' den. It was Saturday afternoon. I want to say like maybe 4:15 in the afternoon. And Tonelli tonight, and I just, like I said, I'm tingling right now. Just
scores. The Islanders win the Stanley Cup.
And you just saw the crowd where everybody run, people on the ice. And this one here, you see the picture of the guy throwing his kid in the air. And all I can say is, all right, his wife's not with him. She probably whipped his butt when he got home. What are you doing throwing my kid like that? Throwing him, launching him up in the air. But it was fantastic. It really was. Now, you were at that game, so were you one of those people throwing the beer cans?
No. Number one, I was sitting right behind the opposing net where the Islanders shot twice. So number one, you have a net. I'm not really a beer drinker, so I don't buy the tall boys, especially since they're like $16. I'd rather just go buy it like a 12-pack. Like
there's $16.
Yeah, they're mega expensive. Like it's nuts. And like, I saw in the comment section someone saying, "What do you think about the degenerates throwing beer?" Like, here's the thing. If you weren't there, you didn't experience it. Like, I'm sorry, you didn't. In that arena, there was so much emotion, electricity, where it got to the point you didn't know what to do with yourself. You honestly did not know what to do with yourself. All this energy, all this, like, kind of, like a euphoria feeling. You didn't know what to do with it. And it kind of turned into a mob mentality where people just started, just throwing beer because we just didn't know what to do. Like, it was like kind of like, how people why do people throw confetti? Well, we didn't have confetti. We had beer. And when you have drunk people, beer cans, and a whole ton of energy, well, they start throwing things. It just became like no one cared anymore. We were just lost in the moment. No one thought about it. Everyone just, honestly, I didn't know what to do with myself, and I didn't care. I thought it was fun. It was celebratory. We were just so happy.
My dad, I remember when he was alive, they went to the last live game he saw was when the Islanders wound up beating Washington when Dale Hunter took a cheap shot on Pierre Turgeon. And he just could not believe the energy in that building. And you're right. That's one thing and I wonder if the new building is going to have that type of energy. I know the fans are going to be great, but until you actually have games in that new building, you don't know. You don't know the acoustics. You don't know. You got to remember, right? Same people had season tickets in the same spots for years and years and years and years. You get to know everybody, and there's an energy just with people that you know. And I just wonder how it's going to be starting next year. I'll be really interested to see. So
I have high hopes.
You have your season tickets, Ken?
I do.
I knew you did.
I have very high hopes for this arena. I took a tour of the arena when it was still like halfway through the process. Was very fortunate to go. They invited Booster Club members, so I was very, very excited. And you talk with the tour guide. He was so open and talking about how, the creation of it. And I talked to John Ledecky before the project even started. And I said, like, I told him, I'm like, John, please just, when you're like looking at constructing this building, please look into sound design, because I told him there's nothing like having your feet vibrate with the cheering of the crowd at Nassau Coliseum. I'm like, really take care into looking into sound design. And he told me, thank you, I will. And while I was on the tour, the sound guys said how Ledecky was so into this project. When you go up to that, I'm in third level, you feel so connected with the ice. The ceiling is nice and low, just like Nassau. I'd say maybe even lower than Nassau. It was perfect height for me personally. And he said, because I was going to ask him, but the tour guy said straight up that Ledecky, hired people to look into perfect sound design for this arena, so that it really connects, that you can connect to the person right all the way across from you from the arena. And he really took the time into looking that this new arena will bounce with sound. And so when I heard that, I was just ecstatic that he does listen to the fans. He absolutely listens to these fans, and he did look into sound design. So I have high hopes for this new arena.
That's awesome. I do know that they're also they try to keep the ceiling as low as possible.
Yes.
So that they could also make sure the acoustics worked well too.
That's just what she just said. Maybe if you pay attention to what the guests say, you wouldn't have to repeat what they say. Maybe you should try listening every once in a while. But here's the bigger thing. Here's the bigger thing that we're breaking on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. My personal friend, Kim, IslesGirl3, is responsible for the sound design of that stadium.
I'm not responsible.
I'm selling it. That's what I'm selling. And you can sell it too. You say it's because of me.
No. That's I have to give, John Ledecky is just a man of the people, man. And I don't think you see an owner like that anywhere else in this league. One who listens and to the fans and just really, really, really cares. Like when we went to, he invited us to New York City to talk on behalf of the project. And after he invited my whole family to a viewing party where we won against the Penguins we had the longest win streak in Islanders history. I was with John Ledecky at a private party that he invited my family to as a thank you. He is just one of the most gracious and open-minded owners, and he really made sure this arena will be perfect for us.
Now, if you can believe this, John Ledecky's not returning my calls. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe because, I had to be a little bit too realistic for him. I don't know, but it's a possibility.
I was about to say, Grump, I was about to ask you now, did you get these invitations and you haven't been including me on them? Because I've been checking the emails. I don't know if they're calling you. I know Lou calls you. Lou from the landline calls you. I'm not getting any emails, Grump. Is it because I associate with you that I'm not invited to these type of items too?
No, it's because you're dull and boring, so people don't want to invite you to things that could possibly be fun.
Oh, my goodness, Grumpy. I'm sorry. You had a question. I didn't want to cut you off.
I forgot the question because you cut me off.
Is that the old senileness kicking in?
Pretty much, yeah. All right, you're gonna get there, my boy. Don't you worry about it.
Goodness gracious! Oh goodness. Did want to ask.
Oh no, here's the question now, Kim. You've seen the pregame show, and it can be a little vanilla. I think I should be on the pregame show. Honestly,
that would be fun.
Wouldn't it be watchable? Tell me you wouldn't watch it. That's the whole thing. It would put eyeballs on TV sets.
It would. It definitely would. I would love to see you in the media room asking players questions. That's where I'd love to see you.
Oh shit.
Josh Bailey, why is it that you can't get more than 1.5 foot off those boards? Is there a reason? Unless there's a puck in the corner. Why is that?
Grump, if you were asking questions, I think you would get to the point where they just wouldn't answer you as a reporter. You ever seen Russell Westbrook when he's getting that question? I can't remember from what reporter it is. He just looks at him. He keeps looking at him. He's like, no, I'm not going to answer that question. It'd be something like that is the type of response you would get, I feel like, from the majority.
You get the Tortorella, he's like, I'm not answering you.
So you're comparing people you comparing the Islanders to Russell Westbrook, the guy who wear glasses or frames without glasses in there? That's the guy that you're comparing me to.
I'm just saying they're not going to like the question. I think you're going to be relatively brash, which is what makes you a likable character. But for players, I don't think they're going to like answering questions like that.
You know what? If you have something with a funny little flick on it, they'll answer the question. And they would love me. I guarantee they'd love me.
They love me.
Absolutely. Josh Bailey's mother loves me. She calls in. She comments in the podcast all the time.
Imagine him and Butch Goring.
No.
Oh, Butch Goring.
No, why not?
Love Butch.
What's wrong with
love
Butchie?
Butch, but yeah, no, I love Butch. I like him too much. I would never pick on Butch. I pick on him on this podcast, but I would never do it in person.
Good. He's
a
gem.
I mean, he's a hero. He's a hero. And even when I'm critical of him, I'm really not critical like TJ is. I'm just going to tell you that much.
Like I am. Like Jesus, man, oh man. I feel like I must have to name the grumpy old man. There were some issues in some articles I was siphoning through reading, trying to think of items to discuss here on today's podcast. And I ran across one, which I thought was an interesting piece. Now, if you're rating where Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock sit regarding top pairing defensemen or top defensive duos, where would you put them? It's something, again, like I'll give you a chance to think about that. I know I gave Grumpy the heads up I'd be asking him this question. So, Kim, I'm going to let you have a little time. So, Grump, don't give me that face, Grump. I've got kind of where I think they belong in what type of rank. And again, because I think they're limited in certain aspects, other aspects on the defensive side of the puck, I think they really excel. But, Grump, if you're rating them as a defensive pairing, where would you put them across the league?
Top 5. I put them top 5.
Top 5?
Top five. How are you going to ask me again? How many times you got?
If I had water in my mouth, I would have spit it across the room. Top 5.
Well, you're not talented enough to do a spit take. That's what people in the show business do. They put the water and somebody's down there and they spit take.
I know what a spit take.
Danny Thomas used to do it.
Couldn't tell you so you're putting them top 5. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Kim, I don't know. Are you agreeing here with this point? Do you think maybe they're a little lower or still think a top 5?
There's different aspects to what you look as to an effective defenseman. I mean, obviously you have your more offensive defensemen, which are more likely to get like Norris nominations and things like that. Are they putting up points as well as being, a top defenseman? But with like Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, obviously they don't get the most points up. Pulock would if he hits the net more. But as shutdown defensemen doing their job, and I feel like they're underrated, honestly, as these top pair. I think they are top pairing shutdown defensemen in the league. Like they are so effective in their job. How many moments you take for granted where they stop a play and turn it around and get it the other direction? I agree with Grumpy.
I guess I must be in the opposite side of the spectrum. I was thinking, hey, we're lucky if we're looking at 9 or 10. I just think that they're devoid on the offensive side of the puck.
Okay.
Pelech. Okay.
And I don't think that's necessary. I don't always think that's necessary all the time. And I know, of course, now with the Islanders, we're struggling offensively. We could use it. But, it's also good to, we don't want to, always outscore the opponent. You want a team that shuts it. That's what the Islanders are known for. We're shut it down. And we don't let them score so we can get ahead. You got to score goals, obviously. But, I have faith in, especially if we get Tarasenko, that we can change that for the better, where we can just score the goals. And with our nice shutdown defensive pairs like Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock, that they're going to get the job done to take that puck away from the net, and that's all we're going to need.
And I have to say, Kim, it's so nice to have someone intelligent to talk to on the podcast. Because most times I'm just stuck with TJ, and it's really, really difficult for me. But the whole thing, from my perspective, as a defenseman, what's the one thing you should be able to do? Play defense.
Yes.
And I thought last year, Pulock had a down year. I still think he was nursing some type of injury last year.
Yeah.
And I thought Adam Pelech struggled early in the year, but then he ratcheted up come playoff time without a doubt. And that's what you want, right, from your best players. You want to see them pick it up at playoff time. And I thought that he really did.
Yes.
And, for me, that's why I put them in the top 5. I don't care if they score 20 goals a year. I don't care if they have 700 assists or great on the power play. What do you do in your own zone? Yeah. That's what I look at for defense pairing.
He stole the point from my mouth. I was going to say their first job is to be a defenseman, not a goal scorer. That's their job. Stop the puck from going towards the net, and they do that beautifully. So he stole the words from my mouth.
I hate to have to come to the defense of other defensemen across the league. I think 9 or 10 is very respectable for them because I do think, again, offensively inept for the most part, and Pulak couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last season. That being said, for teams, they'll have different structures. If you're in a heavy forechecking team, you've got to provide the offense. You're going to have to sacrifice some of that defensive acumen to provide on the offensive side of the puck. I think defensively, I've got you 100%. I think definitely they're top 5. I'd even argue they're higher on the defensive side of the puck. But as an overall unit, I mean, they have to produce a little bit of offense. I'm still putting them like 9 or 10. I still think it's respectable.
It's respectable.
Top 5, Grandpa.
Okay, that's fine. You could say whatever, 19, 20, 30, whatever you want to say.
I said 9 or 10, but yeah, you could just go ahead and blow it out there.
Here's the thing. When you're on the ice and some of your forwards are Travis Zajac, Leo Komarov, Michael Del Cole, Josh Bailey, players of that ilk, how many points you think you're going to put up? I mean, I'm just sorry. We're not a team loaded with offensive talent. I'll bet you if they were playing out there with Matt Barzal and not on a helicopter line with no wings, they'd have a lot more points. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Speaking of you, if you were in some sort of post-game capacity asking players questions, what type of question would you have asked Leo Komarov as he was on the first line? What types of questions would you have asked head coach Barry Trotz if you were able to? I'm always, because you always say the Islanders cartel media, right? They never want to ask a hard question. Always, hey, you did a great job. Your team went down 3 goals. You scored 2. You just came up short. What did you think about the resilience of your team effort? They ask questions like that, softball. Grump, what types of questions would you ask?
Okay. Now, and this is another example of TJ, because he never preps me on anything he's going to talk about.
You just brought it up.
Okay, that's fine, because I can, believe me, I'm more than well prepared. I just want everybody to know that this is not a question you fed me prior to.
No, I don't feed you anything. If I want to feed you something, I'm going to let people know I fed you something.
That's fine. I would say Leo, Lollipop, Komarov.
Is that what you'd say? Leo, Lollipop, Komarov?
Lollipop. He'd know who he is. LP, let me ask you a question. Did it feel like God came down from heavens above and touched you on the shoulder when you were put on the first line? Can I ask you that? Because you were riding the bench for months and weeks and months at a time, and all of a sudden you're on the first line playing with the best player on this team. Is that what it felt like? Does it feel like you were touched from divine intervention that gave you that opportunity? And what do you know what he would have said? Probably something, "Nyet," whatever they say in Russian, I don't know.
It's Estonian. He's from Estonia.
Whatever, wherever he's from. But that would be my question for him. And you want to know a question I'd ask Barry Trotz? Barry, why do you hate young players? Why won't you play anybody under the age of 50? Is it true that you're trying to sign Jaromir Jagr? Is it true you're trying to sign Gretzky back? Mario Lemieux, Ron Francis? Is it true?
Talks are heating up.
Yeah. Those are the type of questions. And Barry, why do you look like an armadillo? That would be the other question.
He's not going to be able to answer something like that. I'm telling you what, you get your press pass revoked after probably question number 1. Maybe get away with you saying, hey, did you look like Leonardo da Vinci's, the touch painting or whatever that was? Did you feel like, you were touched by, I thought you were going to say, did you feel like you were touched by the hand of God when you scored your first goal on the first line? I thought that's where you're going, but I like
that. Has he scored a goal yet? I don't think
he did score that one. He took the monkey off his back, remember?
Yeah, blind squirrel. I should bring out my blind squirrel.
He scored against the Rangers.
There it is.
You're going to score. That's the way to make it. Hey, Islander fans, you scored against the Rangers. That should get another 3 or 4 year extension.
Oh, good.
I mean, it was great, because my nickname for him is Stone Hands Komarov because his puck handling is non-existent. But when I was next to my boyfriend when that happened, just laughing my butt off, and I was like, "You got scored on by Stone Hands."
Actually, you know what? I have a new nickname for him, Mafia, because he skates like he's wearing cement shoes. They used to put their feet in cement, had hard, throw them off the bridge. You're not out swimming that, baby.
I have my own question for Barry Trotz. Like, I'd want to just ask him straight up. When he finally put together the Barzal Palmieri Eberle line, and it was working beautifully. I really just want to ask him, when you see a line working, and then you switch it up, or like the next game you decide to put it back to like the old way, like how, like what goes through the process of that? What makes you think that, like if it works one time, it's not going to work the next? Why split up something? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Because my name's Barry Trotz, and I know better than you do.
Hey, well, that's what half the fans would lead you to believe.
He does, absolutely. I don't like that perspective, because yes, he does. He's won a Stanley Cup. He's an NHL coach for how many years? Because he's respected and he knows his stuff. I just want to get his perspective of what he goes into and what his headspace is when he makes these lines. What does he look for in a practice? What does he look for in these players that he says, oh, that chemistry will work? Like, and I just want to know, what is his headspace when he puts these lines together, and honestly, I do feel sometimes he has a thing for younger players where he's just harder on them.
I think seriously, and this is, here we go. I'm actually going to give a true statement here, as opposed to my other true statements, but this one's more analytical. I feel that what he looks for in line combinations, he's not looking for individual brilliance. I think Matt Barzal absolutely drives him crazy being on this team. But what he wants is, he wants certainty from one line to the next. He wants, okay, I know what these guys can do. We get to the next shift without doing dumb things. We want to limit turnovers. I don't think he really even cares about creating offense, figuring they're going to have enough opportunities on other teams making mistakes. But for him, it's just all about minimizing mistakes, minimizing risk, being defensively sound, positioning, making it difficult for teams to get into prime scoring areas. And that's what I think his whole philosophy is about.
Fair enough.
I don't disagree. And here's the thing. I know Grump was joking with you too, but that's always blown me away that some sects of the fan group, or the fan base, believe you can never question, and that, again, just because he's a Hall of Fame coach, he never makes a mistake. He's infallible Lou and infallible Barry. That stuff has always driven me insane. And again, speaking to it, you even tick the clock back 3 or 4 years. I'm sorry, 2 or 3 years ago, we had the Beauvillier, Barzal, and Eberle line that was clicking on all cylinders, and we dismantled them, I believe, right before the playoffs, and we're left just kind of scratching our head saying, oh, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, Eberle and Lee usually do not play all that well together. I know the first half of this year was different, but they don't play all that well together. And I always wondered why they dismantled that line. I wondered, why we acquired Kyle Palmieri at the trade deadline to stick him on the third line. There's a lot of things I've always wondered.
I think I talked about that with you guys. I was like, Kyle Palmieri's that perfect Lee replacement. I would love to see Kyle Palmieri in that first line. He's the perfect fit for that line. And like, we didn't see it until finally he stuck them together, I think in the playoffs, and it worked. It worked. We scored. Like, it was working. Like, and it was such a good line. And I was like, Barry Trotz is like, oh, it's not fantasy, but I'm like, well, I did pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I just think he doesn't like to upset the apple cart. And that's why you never see him you see other coaches make wholesale changes. Like, okay, we're going to break this line up, put this guy with this guy. And if you ever notice, he never does that. He'll maybe tinker with one line trying to get something, but it's never wholesale changes. And sometimes I think you need wholesale changes. Now, here's the thing. The advantage that this group has, I mean, with the exception of Matt Barzal, we don't have any high-end talent, really high-end talent. So these guys all know where their bread is buttered. It's going to have to be working hard, grinding all the time. And those are the type of players that he likes. It drives me crazy. I'd much rather get skilled guys and backfill with grinders. But it seems like where we've gone kind of in the opposite direction. Let's just put a whole bunch of third and fourth liners out there, and maybe we'll get lucky and get a high-end talent. But it has to be the certain type of high-end talent. And as an Islander fan, sometimes that can be a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, for certain it is. I want to start diving a little bit into some comments too. We're going to talk about some more overarching Islanders themes throughout. Grump, I'm sorry.
Be careful, Kim. You're going to hear most of these comments are going to be pro TJ, anti grumpy old man. I don't know. They'll probably be nice to you, and he'll say, "Oh, I've lost comments."
Oh, I was about to say, Grumpy, I don't know if I see anything positive on yours. I'm like, there's some Grumpy. There's been some comments that have been misplaced. So that's how you'll know that there's some good comments for Grumpy Old Man. Adrian B saying, "Hey TJ, Grumpy Old Man and IslesGirl3."
Yo, Adrian, I just want to say something, Kim.
It's Adrienne. I know her. She's very sweet.
Adrienne. Oh, we've been saying Adrian. Oh,
it's Adrian.
Sorry, Adrienne. Oh.
It's Adrian. I'm sorry. That's probably it. But it right over Yo, Adrian. It just goes forward better. She is a Tampa Bay fan, so she is very, very excited. Now she listens to our podcast, and I love her. But Kim, just know she is a Tampa Bay fan. Oh, goodness. But we love you, Adrian. Adrienne.
Adrian. That's what I was saying, Grumpy. That kind of ruins the Yo, Adrian. We did it.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep on calling you Adrian anyway.
Adrian, is there any way you'd be willing maybe to do a name change? Go through the coach. I'm not sure how long that takes. I think it fits better in a Grumpy Old Man. Scott L is saying, I love the intro music before the show starts. Where did you get it from? We sampled it from artlist.com, I think it was.
It's free. It's free.
No, it's not. It's not free.
TJ must have paid for it. So
yes, that is correct, Grumpy Old Man. Okay. All the nuts and bolts that get done is all because we make a grumpy apple.
We know.
Yeah. We know. Mrs. Bailey, we have not told you yet, Kim. Josh Bailey's mother likes commenting and viewing the show. She said, "No picking on my precious Joshy Poo today. Leave my little baby alone. He's a genius level hockey IQ, Grumpy." You love that he's got a high hockey IQ, don't you?
I know everyone says how smart Josh is. He has that high hockey IQ, but you know what they never say about Josh Bailey? Man, he's a great player. They never ever say that. Even his mom wouldn't say that. She wouldn't even call him above average.
No, goodness gracious.
Jesus.
Emmanuel R saying, just a quick shout out to both of you. Moved to Wales a few years ago, and there ain't much Isles talk out here. Keep up the good work, and for the love of God, start the show on time. It's 1 a.m. here.
TJ.
That's all TJ. Okay. You see how he talked about how everything that's done on this podcast I do. That's right. And you're late every freaking show. I'm telling you. And I said to TJ, I'm like, we need to get on earlier. You tell somebody a time. I mean, maybe this is because he's a millennial. Kim, excuse me. Or I don't know if you're a Gen Xer. We had this discussion. Gen X, Gen Z. I don't know.
I don't know what I am. I'm a 99 baby. I don't even know what I am.
I don't know. You're on the cusp. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But all I know is that TJ just can't freaking tell time. I'm like, dude, you tell somebody a time, you should be there at that time.
I know. I apologize. It's because I always think I can get more done than I can. But I'll tell you, Emmanuel R., we're going to be having a special guest on in Europe at the moment. So we're going to be on. I don't know the exact day yet, but we're going to be having ex-Islander. We'll just leave that there. Won't tell you name just quite yet, but that will be on like a 12 or a 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be much more better suited towards your time period. We'll make sure we make it public when we've got an exact time that we're going on. Jerry B saying, "Wow, Grumpy wore some face paint.
Putting on the paint, putting on the foil, ready to go."
And Emmanuel R. also saying, "Everybody blames Snow for the Lad signing, but a Tarasenko trade could just as easily be a Lad 2.0. Wouldn't it be better to aim for someone who's healthy?"
Totally disagree with that. Tarasenko's only on the hook for 2 more years, and I think he's going to be healthy. Call me crazy. There you go. There's an open invitation. Call me crazy, but I feel that he's going to be healthy, and I think he would do great things playing with Matt Barzal. I think it takes our offense to another level. Roll the dice, Lou Lamoriello. Roll the dice, baby. And you got to remember the snow signing of Ladd had a direct correlation because they lost Okposo and Nielsen, and he's like, I have to do something. Let me throw all this money and ridiculous term at Andrew Ladd, and he'll sign. Nobody else wanted him, and I remember, I'm like, what a stupid signing, And here's the thing: as a fan, just saying it as soon as they see it, it's probably everyone realizes it's pretty dumb, not just idiot fans like me.
Kim, what's your opinion on this?
Well, about that, I mean, like, the other big name really out there would be like Jack Eichel, and he's hurt too. So it's like, it's not really a healthy picking right now. And the price for Eichel would be too steep for me. I think Tarasenko's the best bet.
And I don't think he fits what we do, honestly. I don't think Eichel fits what we do.
Could you imagine how pissed off Barry would get at Jack Eichel? Just like he does at Matt Barzal?
You can't bench too many guys when they make one mistake. So, unless they're older guys, then you never bench them. But if it's a young guy and he makes a mistake, it's possible to bench them. But I mean, it would be tough to bench Eichel and Barzell at the same time. It'd be very difficult.
Oh, goodness gracious. Brett W. saying, TJ, did you just confuse Helen Keller with Anne Frank? Unfortunately, I did.
What a botch job.
I'll be honest. I did. I don't know. I
can't deny it. It's on videotape.
Yeah, George P.
Or digital, whatever it's on. Whatever.
As long as Grumpy doesn't wear a Speedo, we're all good.
I used to wear Speedos.
Jesus.
Ooh.
That was back.
I ate not too long ago, Grump. I got to hold this food down now, my friend.
Okay, but it was like 40 years ago, okay? And believe me, I could pull it off, too.
Trying to add up the years and how old the grumpy old man is, and then we're up
old.
there. George P. also said, you need to be a heavy drinker to be an Islanders fan.
That's not true, but it helps, but it's not true.
I won't say you need to be anymore. Surely, yeah, back in the day, back in the dark times, yeah, you need to be a heavy drinker, or you just need to be a guy who's just like, I'm cynical. It was one of the two things: heavy drinker or being cynical or a casual fan. Those are the three ways you could have survived the Islanders purge.
Cynical was one of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grump, there's a reason why you've been an Islander fan for how long now?
Since their inception. Yeah.
Then,
you didn't have to say that, Kim. I saw it. She went, oh my God.
No, sorry. I hope you guys don't hear it because my neighbors are firing fireworks behind me. And
yeah, what's up with
so
that?
Loud. And it's
No, don't worry. That's fine.
no.
We don't care.
Dan G saying, I hate when people give her a hard time talking about Kim. My daughter's 5, and it's fun for her to see other Isles fans like Kim.
I find it, honestly, I have spoken to Kim a few times, and I was astounded at some of the things that she said that what people say to her. And I just, honestly, I mean, I talk smack to everybody, but just hearing some of the things that people say to her, I'm like, I don't understand it, honestly. I really don't. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. I don't know her, but, I know her somewhat. And, I mean, because she's excited about her hockey team, and maybe she's gotten a little bit of notoriety. Maybe these people are just a little bit jealous or envious. But I'm going to tell you what, it doesn't matter. I mean, she's as down to earth as you're going to find, and she's just a wonderful person. And and I'm so glad that I wasn't going to bring it up because we had a conversation post the last, and don't cry on me, Kim. We had a post podcast conversation, and I felt terrible when I heard some of the things people would say to her and treat her. I'm like, why? It just makes no sense. I mean, it's not like, here's the thing. I could see if people said mean and nasty things about me because I talk smack, without a doubt. But she's not like that. I mean, so she's enthusiastic. Well, what the hell's wrong with that? I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry, we lost that Dan G comment, guys. I don't know where it went. We just lost some comment. Not just kidding. Oh no, absolutely. And again, I had the same exact feeling too. And Grump, I second that. I thought you put it in kind words. I was just trying to diffuse with a little bit of humor. Alexander also saying good evening, guys, and Kim as well.
You look like garbage today. You can't throw the ball.
Oh, Michael T saying, so I've decided I wouldn't hate it if we got Zdeno Chara. He's always in very good shape. He's a beast, and Trotz would get the most out of him.
Okay. If you're getting Zdeno Chara because you want to put a statue of him, a lifelike statue, right out in front of the new building, that's fine because that's as good as he skates right now. I mean, maybe you could just have a human statue out there.
I mean, has he ever skated well, though? He's a big boy, but his advantage is using his body to his advantage.
Yeah, but he can't skate at all anymore. Hey, matter of fact, I would say with the speed he has, if you put him out in front of the new building, between the first and second periods, he might get halfway to the next door entrance.
I mean, of course, yeah. He's, like 43 now or something?
44.
44. Oh, my God.
He's not a Tom Brady 44 either.
Yeah, but he's going to go out with a bang. I don't see him coming to the Islanders, obviously, not the right piece, but I have a ton of respect for him.
Yeah, without a doubt. For me, what I think we should do this in the season, okay, we lost Nick Leddy. I don't think we're going to pick up another top 4 defenseman. Let's incorporate some of the young guys, break them in halftime, whatever. Break 2 or 3 of them in, rotate them in the lineup until you find somebody that actually works. And let's just roll from there. And then come playoff time, we'll have some guys with some fresh legs, a little bit of juice, and then move on from there as opposed to bring in another guy over 40.
Mhm.
Well, one of those things I'm trying to find some old footage of Zdeno Chara that always blew me away is when he was younger, man, oh man, the guy could. I always thought I thought he could skate a little bit. I was shocked how well he could skate because Zdeno Chara has been a fixture in the league for so long. It's like, okay, my image of him has always been, a bigger guy. Skating's not necessarily as strong as you. I felt when he was young coming up with the Islanders, that he was for his size. I thought he was relatively fleet of foot. So I was trying to pull some old footage, but of course, footage from 20 plus years ago is difficult to come across on YouTube. I do apologize.
Yeah, he was a good skater for his size.
Bolduc.
But see, then you run into the same situation. You think Barry still hasn't trusted Noah Dobson. You think he's going to trust another guy 20 years old? I just don't see it. I don't.
We kind of have to.
I hope so. Give Aho a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick D saying, Kim, TJ, Grumpy, how are you guys? Great show as always. Where do you rate Pelech with the rest of the defensemen? Would you rate him in the top 10? A little different than a question we asked a little earlier. I don't care who takes this one first.
I'll take it first. I would rate him as top 10 defensive defenseman. He's not in the top 10 offensively, not ever, but defensively, I'd say I'm going to say he's a little bit higher than top 10, maybe even top 5 defensively. Hedman to me is head and shoulders the best. Nobody else compares.
Yeah.
You look at Adam Fox. Is he really great defensively? Yes, he can put up points, but I mean, he won the Norris Trophy because he scored some points. I don't think he's okay defensively, but he's nowhere near as good as Adam Pelech. I don't feel. Just my thoughts.
I'll let you tackle that one too, Kim.
Maybe not top 5 for me, but I do believe Adam Pelech is definitely a top 10 defenseman in the league. Like, again, it's sometimes for people, it's just all about the points. They just care about, how many numbers they can put up. But I really look at those shutdown defensemen, and those are the defensemen I really appreciate. And Pelech is your man. Like, there's so many times he's just and especially just watching his arc as a player, the way he's flourished under this Barry Trotz regime. Just, it's great to see someone where you see the potential finally, reach it and culminate into one of the best defensemen I think you see in the NHL today. And fun fact, it's his birthday in 2 days.
Wow. It's funny you touched on that. That's a perfect way to put it. It's where player skill set and coaching style totally meshed.
Yep.
Now you put him on another team, probably wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the way that the team plays, not the way they're structured. But for this particular coach, it's a marriage. It's like a marriage made in heaven.
Absolutely.
And I think that's right. And I think he's he's a true defensive defenseman. He reminds me of a guy like a Nick Chalmerson back in the day too. I think he's probably better on the defensive side of the puck. Chalmerson probably a little bit better on the offensive side of the puck. Mm-hmm. But you're right. This is a perfect match made in heaven. I think this guy, talking the defensive side of the puck, probably top 10 as an overall defenseman. You've got to have him in the top 15. Even what he lacks on the offensive side of the puck, I think he more than makes up for on the defensive side of the puck.
He's like all right, he's not Scott Stevens. Don't panic.
Oh my God, you're telling me like he's Scott Stevens, Grump?
He's a Scott Stevens type. That's what he is. He's a guy who's going to be out there at the end of every single game. You need to stop somebody on the power play. He's going to be out there. You need to stop a big line. He's going to be out there. That's the type of defenseman he is. I'm not saying he's Scott Stevens, people. Okay? Scott Stevens, Hall of Famer. Tremendous, fantastic. If Lou could bring him back to play on this defense, he would. But that's the type of player he is. He's not Scott Stevenson, but he's that type of defenseman.
I do like Adam Pelech's hair, though. I'm looking in a few years. I think I'm looking in the mirror. In a few years, I'm looking in the mirror, I think is what that is, Grump.
I don't think it's a few years. I think it's right now.
I was about to say, look at that. I think in a few years, that's what I'm looking at, ladies and gents.
Ooh,
you think him and Barry Trotz are going to match?
I don't know what one of those weird things on when do you think he's going to fully commit and say, I'm just going to shave it?
I don't know. That's what people ask about you all the time on this podcast.
I don't know. I'm pondering it. When Adam Pellick does, I'll consider. How about that, Grump?
Oh, I don't know if you know. I got a haircut today.
Oh, look at your hair was looking a little shaggy last time, so I'm glad.
I had my Hulk Hogan starter set going out the back, and I'm like, no, this is terrible. Because I don't go to the barber anymore. I have a lady come here and she does it, and she was sick last week, so I had to wait an extra week. But I can tell when it's getting long. I'm like, man, I got to get this cut off and I did today. Thank goodness, because first of all, I knew I was going to see Kim today, and I wanted to look my best.
Here, TJ, I'm going to tell you how that went down. She came in, she went snip, done.
Oh my! I like it. I was more shocked that Grumpy has somebody come to his house to cut his hair.
I was about to say I've never heard of a barber house call.
It makes me think of like the doctors.
I should tell you something.
Doctors. Hold on, did she come and cut your hair because she wants to cut the grumpy old man's hair? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because you got so much pull?
I'm not going to say it, but hey, what can I tell you?
Or does she think because even though she's going to have to travel in the vehicle, maybe it's 15 minutes away, she was going to save that in the actual time she'd have to cut your hair?
I don't know, but she collected my hair in a bag and took it with her, so I don't know what that means.
She could catch all of them in one bag?
That's right. She puts, I remember back in the day where, they used to use scissors all the time, just scissors. And now it's like they use buzzers, and, so I get my certain buzzer number. And we've actually adjusted the buzzer a little bit. So
get a little fade.
A little fade in the back. That's
right. Michael T saying guys like Cizikas, Martin, and Clutterbuck are crucial to the current team because they provide the chemistry that you need chemistry to be a good team.
Oh, go ahead, Kim. I'll let you talk to that.
And you couldn't tell what Grum thinks of that comment first.
Oh, I knew he was going to hate that comment as soon as I started. As soon as I saw Cizikas, Martin, Clutter, I saw him going, like the foam starting in the mouth. But I love E = MC squared. I've loved E = MC squared since I was a little girl. I mean, there's a reason I love Cizikas to death. I know the signing isn't ideal. I'm going to be is the Martin signing ideal? No. Do I wish he was less AAV? Yes. But it kind of sucks, but I'm glad to have him as an Islander to keep that, keep that chemistry. That fourth line is just, even teams and other players have come out and said how that fourth line is just so unpredictable, that they're a force to be reckoned with out there. Technically, for me, the Islanders don't have a fourth line. Just in general, they're not to me, they're not fourth line class. You look at other teams' fourth lines and it's like they're a joke. That you look at this fourth line, they're not. I don't put them as a fourth line class tier. You could put them maybe as a third line. It's like we have a first, second, third, and third B.
Well, you could almost say the way they played the majority last year, you're right. We didn't have a fourth line. It was more like a fifth line because they were not great last year. They were good at times. They played like they had in the past. But I know I was going to make you angry. That's okay. But to me, they played maybe 1 out of 5 games during the season well. I thought there were times they were totally outclassed, even in the playoffs. But when they're on their game, they are very effective. Just those times are nowhere near like they used to be. And like I said, I know you love Casey Cizikas, but 6 more years of Casey Cizikas, no, or even 5, no. These guys are all in their 30s. I believe in taking the younger players, breaking them into the team on the fourth line, and letting them elevate. That's just me, though.
Fair enough.
I like the E = MC squared line. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard it before, and maybe it's because I don't pay attention to what people call. I always tune out anytime or during intermissions or anything like that. It's my chance to use the bathroom, chance to do dishes, chance to do throw out the garbage, whatever. That's what I usually do during the intermission. What are you giving me that face for, Grump?
When Kim talks, I listen. That's all I
know. I had an E = MC squared shirt before Matt Martin was even traded to Toronto. It was, I believe, started by Butch Goring. It's energy = Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck.
That is okay. Maybe it's just like I've been living under a rock, but I think that's pretty. I think that was pretty good. Now I'm learning about something this had to be around what in 2015, 16,
Yeah.
and I'm just completely oblivious to it.
No,
Well,
it's okay.
as some people bring up on this podcast, the best fourth line in hockey. Well, Don Cherry said that 7 years ago. So, probably not apropos for today, but TJ has taken another step. He thinks we have the best third line in hockey.
I think when we put the pieces around, I think, hey, could you tell me the triple P line of Parise, Palmieri, and Pajot? The PP line would not be the best third line in all hockey. The PP line definitely would be.
Yes, but here's the thing, right? I think you're trying to make that game some traction, and it's just not.
I'm gonna tote it around all the time because I know you're anti Parise, anti this, anti that. I think the PP line would be the best third line in all of hockey. It'd be hard to argue against it. I think Pajot brings the offensive element, also a great way on the defensive side of the puck. Palmieri still got the pop left. He's still got pop left to the party, and you give Parise a little bit of a hard time, but Parise I still think brings an offensive flair that this team desperately needs.
Real quick, if the PP line is a little bit too coarse, how about just call them the Whiz Kids? That would be another good name for the line too.
Is it also like an entendre that they're very old? They're all over 30 years old, the Whiz Kids?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
It's better than to call them the Depends brothers.
Oh, goodness. So the pensioners. Alexander saying, Austin Matthews at the Mets game.
We lost, didn't we?
The Mets died right now. Man, oh, man, the wheels are falling off the Mets.
He just had an injury. Austin Matthews just had an injury. He had surgery.
Doesn't help that our bullpen is just all gone.
Now, Kim, do you listen to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man podcast on Sundays and Wednesdays? That's a no. That's a no. You better make sure that you get on there, you listen, and you subscribe, okay?
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
Oh, goodness gracious, Grump. George B. saying, hey, Josh Bailey, we want to know when they trade you for Tarasenko.
Not soon enough. That's what I have to say.
Think
about
it,
something
though.
I will miss.
Think about it, though. If you could, why would St. Louis do it, is my point. Josh Bailey was not good enough to be picked in the expansion draft, the last two expansion drafts. I think that a certain faction of Islander fans has a way higher opinion of Josh Bailey than the rest of the league does, honestly. And a lot of them, another faction of fans, think that he's way worse than anyone in the league. I'm part of that faction. Thank you. But I still think he has value. But I don't know if he has value for St. Louis. I don't know if they're going to let them. If St. Louis has to move Tarasenko. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have the cap space.
They would rather, they could save $2.5 million by moving Tarasenko for Bailey. So, I mean, from that perspective, but what does Bailey bring to their team? I just don't know. I don't know.
I think if you look at it this way, like the fans like hyping him up could be like have St. Louis like, oh, maybe, you want something that's going to be a crowd pleaser, like, somewhat like Josh Bailey kind of is here. Maybe that pumps up his value. I don't know technically, but also it's just like Top Bailey for us is technically a top line winger for this team. So it's like you're acquiring a proven top line winger in that aspect, I mean, for us, we're kind of like, but
I think it's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch is the newspaper there. If the newspaper is even relevant out in St. Louis, I don't know. I could just imagine a trade being made. Tarasenko for Bailey would be like, ugh, on the back. Ugh, that's all you got? Or won't you go home, Josh Bailey? Won't you go home? I don't know. I think it would be underwhelming for the fan base to trade Tarasenko for Josh Bailey.
I think they'd also get a pick in there too.
Well,
honestly.
Okay. Well, see, there you go. That's why we have Kim here.
You talked about the two sections of the fans, those who wildly overrate Josh Bailey. Hey, the people who call him an elite winger, and the people who wildly underrate Josh Bailey. They call him garbage, a ham and egger. The list goes on and on. Any nomenclature that the grumpy old man uses.
Nomenclature, big word from TJ. Nomenclature.
Then there are the fence riders like this guy right here. And that is exactly where Josh Bailey is. So we've got the perfect valuation of Josh Bailey's ability on the ice.
I'm a fence rider. There's some moments where Josh Bailey will absolutely make me want to pull my hair out. Like his blind backwards passes to nobody. Like the time he almost scored on us. Like it's just like there's some moments where I'm like, Josh Bailey, what are you doing? Like
the time he missed that power play when we were on the power play in game 7 against Tampa, right?
Just there's some moments where Josh Bailey can just be so frustrating, and then there's some moments where Josh Bailey will be the savior of the day, and you're like, oh, you know what, he redeemed himself this game. Let's hopefully he can like stay on the streak. My problem with him is just I don't hate him, I don't love him. He's just inconsistent. He's just so inconsistent that it hurts.
For me, and there are times when he plays well, and it's so noticeable. And I'll say on the podcast, I'm like, if Josh Bailey played like this every night, and it's usually maybe once or twice a year, that's it. But I'll say, man, if he played like that it seems like to me, it doesn't seem like he hustles much. Uh-oh. I have a visitor in my house right now. It's not fireworks, but almost. It's a dog. But he just seems like he's just there. He's just kind of lethargic. You never see him going into corners. You never see him go in front of the net. He just never seems to do anything to show up. He's like Spackle, human Spackle. Oh my gosh! You ever have a dog? I mean, here's the thing. I don't have a dog. It's my son's dog, and I don't know what the hell he's doing in there, but he's making a lot of noise and he's drinking. And I know the water is everywhere because just by the noise it's making, it's like, dude, learn how to drink like a human.
I have a dog. I know. This is my pup.
Oh, there you go.
Must be a big dog.
Yes.
I don't know what the heck's going on. He's opening the refrigerator now. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I guess you're going to find out later, Crumb. Jeremy Ford says, do you think the signing/trades are in the waiting to see how the likes of Bolduc, Salo, and Bellows look in camp?
No way. I think those signings are done. The guys who haven't signed, and like I've mentioned before, I thought Ryan Murray was coming here because he was the last left-handed defenseman who hadn't been signed. And I said, oh, gosh, I'm surprised he's still out there. And I thought he was a guy that we had signed. We just haven't announced it yet. And I think that's the case with all of our other guys. And then you see him go to Colorado for 1 year, $2 million. Gosh, wouldn't that have been perfect for us? So, but maybe he just wanted to play for a Stanley Cup contender. You know what I'm saying. Colorado is certainly one of the favorites going into next year.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, certainly higher on the board than we are. I'm just going to say that. Maybe that's why he chose there. But I thought he would have been a perfect signing. But I think you're going to find Cizikas is coming back. Palmieri is coming back. Parise is going to be here. Jack is coming back.
I think he will be a great addition to this team.
I'd much rather give a younger guy a shot. That's what I'd much rather give a Kiefer Bellows a legitimate shot to make the team. I don't want 37-year-olds, or you sign him, hey, you get a PTO contract, something like that. But I don't want to commit to anybody who's over the age of 35. I just don't want to do it. That's me. I'm crazy. What can I tell you?
No, goodness gracious. Michael T saying, in Crafty Lou we trust.
It was much easier to pick on Michael when he just had the Mets hat picture. But he's got the Dennis Potvin with the rings. It's tough for me to get angry with them.
Scott L saying, if Lou doesn't get Tarasenko, you think he will call Anaheim to see if he can trade possibly for Cam Fowler and Ricard Raquel? It would take care of both the needs and replacements for Letty and the sniper and Raquel.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to give up a boatload for those two guys. And is it worth it? Then is it worth it? Because you're going to be talking about young players and draft picks. That's what you're going to have to talk about having to give up. So I'm going to say no to that. And here's the thing: we can't fit Fowler under the cap.
Fowler's getting paid about $6.5 million a year. And the interesting thing about Ricard Raquel is he's got that one. He's on the last year of his contract, getting paid about on average that 3.8.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that happening. Sorry.
You need roughly about $10 million worth of cap space.
Yeah, that's not happening. We got to remember, because we have Palmieri lined up on a multi-year deal. Casey yet on a multi-year deal. Still have to sign Bo back. Sorokin, Zajac, Parise. I mean, those are a lot of guys where they've already earmarked money for them. So for you to pick up somebody like that, you're going to have to offload cash. And what does Anaheim want from us? They're not going to want Josh Bailey. That much I can tell you. His mom didn't even want him.
Oh, goodness. Jeremy Ford saying a healthy Lee, Pajot, and Wahlstrom in the lineup would have been a nice push to have in Game 7.
True. Okay. I'm just Tampa Bay. I don't think they really put out, except for the game they beat us 8-0. They just did enough to beat us. I don't think they really put forth the maximum effort. I just don't. I think they could have beaten us anytime they wanted. I just think Tampa was just the best team in hockey last year. Nobody was going to beat them. If they were pushed to the wall, they would have taken it to another gear. That's what good teams, that's what championship teams do. That's what the Islanders did back in the day. We'd struggle against some lesser teams, but when we had to, downshift to the next gear, we were able to do it. And that's what I think Tampa Bay had that capacity last year. Will they have it next year? I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
I agree with him. I agree. Like, I think if Pajot was, nice and healthy, if we had put Wahlstrom in over Komarov, it sucks. It's the what ifs. You don't know. But I think we could have done it.
Yeah, yeah. So, grumpy old man, you're taking the aspect that Tampa would have been like a rat backed into a corner, would have gnawed its way through human flesh to win. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's gracious.
But we were gritty like that sometimes. We were gritty like that. Game 6, perfect example. Came back, won the game, done. We might have been a lesser team at most of the game, but we found a way to come back and win it. And Game 7, I think we could have done the same. It's just more, for some reason in Tampa, we just fell apart. As a team, as a unit, it wasn't the same team you saw at the Coliseum. I don't know what was up with that, if it's that home advantage, but I don't know, maybe just switching it up and having healthy players, scratch Lee, because with Lee, it gave us the space to get Palmieri in there, and I think Palmieri did well. But a healthy Pajot, we were really missing him. You could tell everyone knew he was hurt because he was not playing up to his aptitude. And just having Wahlstrom, or even just Wahlstrom on that third line, pushing Palmieri up there at that first line, having that first line back, because it worked and it was effective. Maybe, who knows, maybe it would have shifted that chemistry and we would have worked as a unit, and maybe it would have been a different result.
I don't want you really quickly to subscribe to the fact that just because we had Lee, we couldn't have fit Palmieri into the lineup. Everybody keeps toting that around like it's some fact. I'm going to let you know something. If they really wanted Palmieri badly, they only had to take on $2.3 million worth of cap. They could have offloaded a contract like a Thomas Hickey to the Devils, who are a cellar dweller for extra draft capital. I would 100% agree. I 100% believe that. So if they were really all in to push for the victory, they could have made Kyle Palmieri fit. So go ahead, Grum.
Don't you be picking on Kim.
I'm not picking on Kim. I'm kicking on everybody who says that, because I know Phil Fax is going to say that. Coach Tommy B said that. Everybody says that there's no way we could have fit Kyle Palmieri, because if Lee was here, we wouldn't have had the cap space. We could have freed up $2.5 million worth of cap space, which is what we had to take on the prorated rate. It was a little less.
Would we have really, I understand that it would have been a nice addition anyway, but I feel like the idea wouldn't have popped up anyway if Anders Lee didn't get hurt, which is kind of sad to say, but the idea wouldn't have even come to question. We have such minimal cap space as it was. Why push for another offensive piece when it would have just screwed us in this offseason, as we were already screwed anyway?
I feel like if that was the case, I'm always a big believer. If you're on the cusp, I don't care what you do, make a trade, improve your team a little bit, because when the playoffs come, injuries are going to happen. Even if you think your team is perfectly aligned to win and we've got everything we need, you need to always still make an addition at the trade deadline, because you're never as good off as you think. Injuries always happen. Adding a piece like Palmieri would have given them, honestly, probably would have happened. Oliver Wahlstrom would have seen the bench if he added a piece like Palmieri. Just realistically, if Lee was healthy, we'd have seen Oliver Wahlstrom go to the bench.
Yeah.
One thing I want to agree with Kim on is, I think really an underrated loss for us was the injury to J.G. Pajot. That really limited the effectiveness of our penalty kill, of our power play, our second power play unit, and just, Yep, the greatest number 44 in New York sports history since Reggie Jackson, without a doubt. And Kim, just to know, I was 100% behind that trade. Certain member of this podcast was not, but it certainly wasn't me. You figure out who's who. But yeah, his injury was a huge. It neutralized really that third line.
The third line was basically useless. I'm sorry, but the third line was basically useless.
Especially when they threw Komarov and Travis Zajac on that line. It was just kind of like the garbage heap line. And
oh my God, just putting Travis Zajac on the power play. I remember at the game going, is that Zajac? Are they kidding me? I was like, what?
Well, 10 years ago when Lou was GM in Jersey, he was good on the power play. Maybe it's muscle memory yet.
Well, so you're saying Lou called in. He's like bloop, bloop, on his rotary line, and he says, "Hey Barry, we need you to go ahead and put Travis Zajac on that empty spot we have on the second power play immediately." Is that what happened?
Oh, it's the end of the second period. Okay, click. That's how it
went. Just want to show you this too. Michael T saying with Lee, our captain, first line winger, Barzal's lined me top goal scorer. We beat Tampa and win the cup. I just wanted to show that to Kim. Hey, Michael T's thinking we win the cup there with Andersley. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it sucks. Again, it's the what ifs. I wanted to see, like, Lee had a good projection for this year before he got hurt. I mean, he was our top leading goal scorer. He was the guy, and that's what Barzal looks for. He looks for that feed, and that's why I said Palmieri was such a good fit. He looks for that feed in front of the net. He's first and foremost, Matt Barzal is a playmaker. He's not a top goal scorer. He is a playmaker. He makes goals happen. And he looks for that guy who's crashing the net, who's going to be in front of that goalie. Anders Lee was that guy. That's why he was a top goal scorer, because Matt Barzal could feed him in front of that net. What does Palmieri do? He does something similar of crashing that net, which is why I felt like that line was as effective as it was. Does Leo Komarov do that? No. Does Eberle do that? No. And you see, it wasn't the same production values. That's why I feel like, really, I feel like a healthy Anders Lee really would have helped catapult this team.
I like the energy and enthusiasm, Grump. It's good to see a positive. It's almost like a positive grumpy old man where she's got the energy and enthusiasm. Grump's always towards the negative side. And Kim, I wouldn't say she's always towards the positive side, but that was a positive thing. Grump, I've never seen you show enthusiasm towards a positive thing the Islanders have done like that.
That's not true, first of all.
not like that right there. Not like that right there, Grumpy.
Well, okay.
I was about to say, we've had how many episodes on here? Even if you date back to the SoundCloud days, like 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think you've ever had anything positive when you showed emotion like that.
That's not true. When I talk about the old team, I'm extremely positive.
You talk about going on a trip down memory lane through the 80s, right?
When I talk about Matt Barzal, I'm extremely positive.
But you're usually negative. Your enthusiasm comes out negative towards Barry Trotz.
Well, that's true as well. That's what
because he's defending Barzal.
That's right. That's right. See, I defend my people, man. I'm just telling you. So
I'm noticing a little bit of a little Grumpy. You always say I bring my friends on the podcast who support me, Grump. I'm noticing a little bit of that on the other side here, Grumpy old man.
You asked me, TJ.
No.
TJ won't even give me the list of people. Nope, sorry. I don't want any of your cronies here. Nope, sorry.
Oh, goodness. Michael T saying, I'm loving Kim's Long Island accent. Where is she from?
I'm not going to say what town because I just have insecurities about saying where I'm from, but I'm from Suffolk County.
That's all that needs to be said.
You know what? I'm from Suffolk County as well. It was a while ago, though.
I'm in the central. That's all I say to keep it vague. D-Cut saying, shout out to Isles Misery rated R.
D-Cut, he's the man.
Eli saying, we can't lose to Boston, Pittsburgh, Toronto, or the Rangers. Any other team, and I'm okay with it. But those 4 teams just tick me off with their fans and how they play on the ice.
Boston, I don't like Boston because I've never liked Boston. Going way, way back. Pittsburgh, when Mario was there, I respected them because, as everyone knows, I respect greatness.
Absolutely.
Toronto, they really don't bother me so much. I know a lot of people are butthurt because Tavares went there. I could care less. The Rangers, the Rangers never really bothered me either because we always better than, when I was a kid, we were always better than the Rangers. So, it never really bothered me. I mean, I could still like the Rangers. Now, today, I'm not rooting for the Rangers, but it doesn't bother me. The one team I never want to lose to was damn Philadelphia Flyers. I hate them more than any other team in sports history. I rooted for the Russians over the Philadelphia Flyers when they came here for the tour. And would you know, that's the only game that the Russians lost was playing against Philadelphia.
Given the time frame that happened, Grump, where you're rooting, so they understand the significance.
Yeah, that's like when the Russians were threatening to bomb this country. I was still rooting for them over Philadelphia Flyers. And the Bruins be bullies.
Oh, man, oh, man.
I hated the Flyers, man. Oh, my God. To this day, I hate them. And I hate the things they did in the offseason because I think it makes them a tougher team to play against. The one thing you can never say about the Flyers for the last couple of years is that, they were easy to play against. But I feel the last few years, they've gotten a little bit soft. They got a little bit more snarl to their game this offseason, and I think that's bad news for us.
You sometimes get called a closeted Rangers fan, Grumpy.
No one calls me.
I'm telling you, people on this podcast, the way you speak glowingly about their future, they call you a Rangers fan.
Okay, but let's say you're a fan of either team, objectively, because I like to be objective.
You can't be an objective and be a fan, Grump. How dare you?
Because I'm special. What can I tell you? I'm not.
He's a realist. I'm the same way.
If you look at these teams just from outside view, whose future would you rather have with the current lineups? Would you rather be the Islanders or the Rangers?
That always pisses that certain group off, Grumpy.
I know it does.
He's a Ranger fan. Throw him in the fire.
That doesn't make me a Ranger fan. Here's the thing. I think the Rangers will be better this year because they have an actual NHL head coach. Gerard Gallant works well with young teams. He did a fantastic job with the Florida Panthers. And even though they were a little bit older, he did a great job with Vegas. I mean, you can't question what Gerard Gallant has done as a coach. He's certainly better than College Quinn. Thank you, D-Cut. College Quinn, without a doubt. And I think that's going to make the Rangers better. Are they good enough to make the playoffs? I don't think they are, but they're going to be a tougher team to play next year. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think he's going to have to find his own ride home on a road game, perhaps, if things get to a tumultuous start for the Rangers? You think he's going to have to find his own way back like he did for Florida?
No, not next year.
Oh, man. College Quinn. William C. saying, I have a good feeling about the boys. They'll be back fired up for next season. I can't imagine losing in Game 7 in the semifinal day will sit well with these players. We know what we've got to do. We just have to execute.
See, that kind of, and I love William, by the way. I think we did execute. I just think we beat by a better team, a team that had more talent than we had. That's all. I mean, and there's no crime in that. I don't think we played poorly. I think Tampa Bay is just a better team right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's as far as we could go with this group of players. I would feel better about the Islanders' chances if the average age of the Islanders was 3 years younger. Like if your Baileys, your Lees, the core of the team was 3 years younger. Because then you could say, okay, we're still on the ascension. Where right now I feel everyone's in their 30s, so they're on the decline in talent-wise. That's the thing that worries me going forward. It really is can we continue to duplicate the same level of commitment and the same grinding style over an 82-game season? Remember, we haven't had to play 82 games the last 2 years. Are we going to be able to do that over the long haul and then another playoff series? You got to remember, when we went into the pandemic, if it wasn't stopped, we were not going to make the playoffs. And then maybe we're talking about a whole different thing. Maybe Lou Lamoriello says, you know what? Okay, this team wasn't even good enough to make the playoffs this year. Let's move out some of the older pieces, go to a youth movement. And the same thing this year. What happens if we get knocked off in the first round? Do you think that he's making the effort to bring all the older players back? I think they're probably going to try to make a transition. But, I mean, I think they tried to ride this horse as long as they could. It wasn't good enough. They need some more fresh blood. Getting Tarasenko extends the window of this team, I feel. That's all.
Kim, what I want you to weigh in on that too.
I
She
mean,
can't remember. I talked so long, she didn't remember what the hell the question was.
I mean, Grumpy, he said a lot. Some I agree with, some I don't. Again, like I believe we could have beat the Lightning, and if you're talking about just pure talent on both teams, yes, the Lightning do have more talent than we do, but I think it's just the execution of chemistry within the team. I think the Islanders had a better team chemistry, and when they worked together, they were the better team, and it doesn't matter about talent at that point. You know, are you playing players, you know, singularly, and that they're doing their own thing, they're not a team unit, you know, and that was a big problem with us, and that I think we really have fixed over the years, with Barry Trotz, you know. And I always quote Lou saying this, you know, a player wins a game, teams win cups. I love that phrase, and I really think just if we could have just been more cohesive game 7, we could have taken it home. And I agree with William. I don't think, you know, game 7, you know, seeing Barzell that choked up after that game 7, as was I as a fan, like, it just to see them it hit them as hard as it hit us. That I really hope they remember that feeling. I really hope it lights a fire. I really hope that it makes them work just that much harder. That they go in that locker room, they talk about it, and you know, you win together, you lose together, and especially with losing together, you learn more together. And I think, you know, this year it catapulted us one more game against the Lightning. Let's see maybe if it can catapult us one more round.
And I think, again, the Lightning are going to be hurt. I mean, they lost their, as much as, you know, hey, you know, bottom 6 guys don't really get as much as the notoriety as they deserve. They did lose some big important pieces off that Tampa team, and, you know, they're not going to have the ability to hide under, you know, the little cap provision that they were able to utilize. Grump always says that little cap provision they were able to utilize to their favor. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, Grump. I'm just saying they did utilize it, right?
When you say that, you're trying to say it's wrong.
You bring the same exact thing when I talk about John Tavares. I don't give a you do this all the time. You go ahead and put in your feelings, and you impose them on what I say.
Not true at all. Not true at all. Not smoking the rock over there, man. There's no way I ever put my feelings on what you say. All I've ever said was that I don't even know what I said because I forgot what you were talking about. Your comment was so stupid. I forgot what you said.
I was talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning, the bottom 6. Them using.
Oh, that's right. Here's the thing. Those are the rules. Okay, do you think any other team in the league could sit out their best player the whole year and still make the playoffs and have maybe your third best player, because I consider Point better than Stamkos, sit him out for the last 15 games of the year and still make the playoffs? The answer is no.
I think a few could do it. They wouldn't finish. Remember, Tampa finished number 2 in their division, very close to finishing top. I think there are a few teams that can do that. I mean, I think
you can take the two of the top 3 players off your team, one for the whole year and one for a quarter of the year, and then still insert them back into the lineup. You're crazy.
I'm just saying.
Take Matt Barzell off this team and take Brock Nelson off this team. Do we make the playoffs?
Holy shit. Did you just give Brock Nelson top 3 status for the New York Islanders? Ladies and gentlemen, I love it. I love it.
See his goals?
He's your second line center.
Grumpy hates Brock Nelson.
I love
him.
I don't hate Brock Nelson. I do not hate him.
I love the Pilgrim, man.
The Pilgrim. Where does he get that? Real quick, where does he get the nickname? The
He
Pilgrim?
looks like a pilgrim.
That's my nickname for him. And I made an edit. If you put the hat and you put the pitchfork, he looks like, you know, like the little, like, you put like a little belt buckle. He's a pilgrim.
That's a good nickname. You know, he's starting to get old too because he's got a little salt and pepper going on.
But like, it was my nickname for him. It just I just found it funny. So every time he scores, I put a little gif of pilgrims dancing on Twitter.
Well, see, there you go. I call him Croc because it rhymes with Brock.
I like the Pilgrim better, Rump.
I do like the Pilgrim better, but I'm not going to steal her thing. I'm not.
Can we go ahead?
Absolutely take it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm envisioning him because as soon as you did say that, I'm like, he actually does look a little like a pilgrim. Now that I imagine that, I can imagine him having that belt buckle hat on, eating at Thanksgiving or something like that. For certain, I can.
I gotta find it. I made a little edit. Here it is.
Where's the Norman Rockwell picture?
There it is.
With
Oh,
the
hey, he
pitchfork.
does. He does.
Oh,
He
we're
does.
gonna
Let
have
me.
to
Let me
put
take.
Kim's thing
I'm
up. We're
sorry.
gonna
I'm
have to
sorry.
put
I'm
Kim
sorry.
back up there. Oh yeah,
I'm
look at
sorry.
it. There you go. Look
He
at
does
that.
look. He does
He
look
does
like.
look like a pilgrim.
Do you see how she did that, Grumpy? You see how when she showed her camera, it wasn't like this all over the place. When you show me your camera, like, look at this blind squirrel right here. You see
You
how
got
she was
steady
able
your
to
hands
steady
around
that
you. What
right
can I
on there,
tell you?
Grumpy?
I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I admit that. All right. That's all right. You can you can run me down in front of the people. That's fine. I don't care.
Oh, Grumpy.
I'm moving right
I
past
gotta
it.
do what I can.
It's all right.
Round
Don't worry
one.
about it.
Jeremy Ford saying, when Mayfield scored, I was crying. And
Me
she's
too.
yeah,
Me too.
talking about that Mayfield goal. Man, oh man, to tie that game, the third
Boom.
period. Oh,
Beautiful.
I was right behind the net, and I saw that hit. When I like that moment where it's like disbelief, where you see the puck hit the netting, and I saw that just hit like up top, and I remember like I have the video where you just hear me just screaming. Like it was just it's the guy you weren't expecting to tie the game, and the moment you just like the Islanders just don't do that. The Islanders, you never like as much as I love this team, I just never expect the Islanders to surprise me, and when they do, it's a feeling like no other.
I tell you what, Scott Mayfield, as TJ knows, is one of my favorite Islander players. I've been trumpeting him since they drafted him in the second round, number 42 overall, I believe it was. And I'm like, I want this kid to succeed. And I am so glad that we kept him. I know we're going to keep Letty or Mayfield. And then come playoff time, man, Scott Mayfield really stepped up.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they kept him. He's, like I said, he's one of my favorite players. And that was you don't expect to go like that.
I was very critical of him this year. I feel like there was so many moments Scott Mayfield was a reason for a goal. Just like I felt like he should have been more, it was kind of like you took Devon Taves away and you kind of see how Devon Taves was kind of holding him a little bit, holding his hand. But like you said, Scott Mayfield for me in playoffs, though, really did show up as a player, and I gained more respect for him in playoff time.
And I never thought that he and Letty were a good match.
No, they weren't.
And I feel if you put Sebastian Aho out with him, I feel that would be a good match because Aho is a lot like Taves. He's a move the puck guy all the way. He's not the most stout defenseman, but he will actually play defense. And I think that's been a struggle for Letty for the last number of years. I'm not upset Letty's gone. I'm not. Not for what he was getting paid. I'm like, I was ready to move on from him. And I know TJ didn't like Nick Letty for a long time. Isn't that correct, TJ?
I've always disliked the lack of effort has always driven me insane. Anytime I see any professional out there, I know they've got the talent. I've seen him and his ability to skate, and I think to myself, why are you not hustling? Why do I see you gliding on the way back? Where is this? I'm like, where's the effort? That's the shit that's always driven me insane. Real quick, I do want to mention that I didn't notice until right now. This goal that Scott Mayfield scores, the puck is way out in front of him too. The fact that he put that in that spot from a puck that really he didn't get all that much power on, it gives me even more respect for that goal because that goal was outstanding.
Well, he had like this much room to score, and he just threaded the needle. And what you were saying about Nick Letty, like the biggest thing I had a problem with Nick Letty was his inability to keep the puck in the zone. We would finally set up. We'd spend all this time getting the puck back. We finally set up, and he'd flub it at the blue line. And I'm like, of course it's Letty.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't bother me at all that they traded him. That's all.
I had my likes and I had my dislikes about him. It kind of hurt because I just love all the players on the team. That's just the bias in me of a fan, but I'm not as upset. I don't know. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I thought you brought up a good point about Scott Mayfield. We were all very critical of Scott Mayfield the entire regular season because I thought it was a underwhelming year for him in the regular season. But it's like it was a light switch flipped on for him. It was like, man, oh man, he possessed, in my opinion, in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Paul O.C. saying, hi, guys. The 2-1 loss in Game 3 to Tampa hurt us the most, I think. It was a turning point of the series, especially after winning Game 1 and losing the next 2 games.
Think about it, though. We came out flat that game.
We did.
We played Game 1, was as good a game as we could play. that was honestly the best game as a team that I've seen us play against a quality opponent like that. Certainly all year. That was the perfect Islander game. And then it's like Tampa, the last 3 minutes of the game, hey, we're in a game here with the Islanders. And they turned it on. They scored the 1 goal. They were on the verge of scoring to tie it. And if that game was another 2 minutes, I feel we lose that game. But here's the thing. We did win it, right? Then we lose game 2. Tampa came out and outplayed us. Game 3, we came out flat. And I was really, really surprised because we had that series was there, honestly, even as the lesser team. That series was there for the taking for us if we just serve at home. Yeah. And we come out flat in game 2 and we lose, right? Then I always say, we wound up winning game 4, which honestly, I don't think we deserve to win if you look at the whole. And then I feel like Tampa Bay woke up. Stamkos called up Hedman. They called up Kucherov. They called up Vasilevsky. He's like, dudes, you realize this is a 2-2 series against the Islanders, right? And they're like, really? Are you sure? I mean, I don't think so. John Cooper certainly didn't think so. And they come out and they just blow doors, 8-0. And I'm like, ugh. And even game 6 that we won, we did not play them that game. We did not play them. Down the stretch we did in the third period.
Third period, yes. But the first 2 periods, I agree. Yeah, we didn't.
But the first 2, they outplayed us. And TJ said, "There's no way we're losing the last game at the Coliseum."
I said, take money to it. I said, there's no way in hell we'll lose game 6 in the Coliseum. I don't give a shit who we're playing. We're not going to lose. And just like I told you, if we beat Tampa, don't care what happened, we were going to win. I said we could have been playing the 1984 Edmonton Oilers. Didn't matter.
Yeah, and
you brushed that off like. Bah, bah, bah.
I know, I did. I'm like I'm brushing it off now
because you were right.
You were right. But seriously, that game was for me so fantastic for the fans. And I often say it, I feel if we would have won a cup this year or last year, it would have been the greatest achievement by an Islander team in their history, greater than anything else, because when we were winning those cups in the 80s, we were the best team in the league. We were Tampa Bay. We were Montreal Canadiens back in the day. We were, all the great the Edmonton Oilers. That's what we were back then. We're not that now. And it would have been, I think, a way bigger achievement for Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello than the cups that Lou won in New Jersey, because they were really talented, and certainly Barry's cup in Washington. Without a doubt. That would have been the greatest achievement for the organization, would have been winning a cup this year. And I often say, I feel for the young people, the people who've never seen the Islanders win, that you don't have that moment. But this was the closest thing to it that you've ever had.
And that's why it hurts the most. That's why I agree. Like I said at the beginning, it hurt the most because I knew that one game was the tilt, like the teeter-totter of cup, no cup.
Yep.
Oh man. Something.
And I think game 7, they just shut us down. Game 7. They just said, you know what? Who's the one guy who can beat us? Oh, 13? All right. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. And they scored that goal of Bailey not doing what he's supposed to, which causes Palmieri to go into the corner, which opens up the goal. And that's it. I mean, that was it.
I do want to say one thing that pissed me off about game 1 is the media and how they didn't. I always thought they diminished what the Islanders did on the ice in order to neutralize Tampa, make them look like an everyday team. They're always like, oh, well, Tampa made this mistake and that mistake. And that's really the reason why the Islanders were able to win, in Amalie Arena. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, I never thought they gave the Islanders their due for that one. It's not a huge deal. But I never thought they gave them their due for that game 1 victory.
Do you think the media really, I'm not saying the media, I'll say TV executives want to see the Islanders advancing to a Stanley Cup final, playing that style? No freaking way. Do you think that they wanted Montreal going to the Stanley Cup finals? No way. The dream series they wanted was Tampa Colorado.
I was about to tell you to stop because I was about to write it down and just show you that we were thinking the same thing, but that's fine.
Because that was my prediction at the beginning of the year was Tampa, Colorado. And I thought Colorado, even though they didn't make it, I thought they were the best team in the West last year.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see them out so early.
But here's the thing. They have all the young guys who are ready. They need a little bit more sandpaper like Tampa needed 2 years ago. They added, I don't know who they added this offseason. I haven't paid attention to Colorado. And I should have been able to pay attention to everybody since the Islanders have done nothing. But I have not paid attention to Colorado yet. But a little bit of sandpaper will go a long way getting those guys over the hump. So,
absolutely. Decant said, yeah, $17 for a tall boy at the Jesus, man, oh man. I cannot believe that. Again, maybe it's because I haven't been to any type of sporting event or haven't bought a beer at a sporting event. Oh my God, $70. Okay.
I don't know what the cost of beers nowadays, $17 for a tall boy. Okay. I remember when I was in high school, going way back, we went on a school field trip. That's when you used to take field trips to places. And we took a field trip to go see, we saw Tavern on the Green. We went there to have lunch, and we went to see Mikhail Baryshnikov dance in the Nutcracker Suite in, I don't know where it was, big, wherever, American Ballet Theater, wherever the heck it was. And the biggest thing I remember, we went there early, just showing how kids were, right? And we watched him in warm-ups, and the guy was freaking spectacular. I mean, still get goosebumps. I'm not a ballet guy, but watching him was sensational greatness.
Not a ballet guy?
I'm not a ballet guy.
Okay.
I mean, I do have the skills. I can, get up on my toes and stuff, but not like I used to, admittedly so. So, and I remember us watching, we're 17 years old, whatever. And, in the first part, some girl falls, because it's tough. So what do you think we all do in the back row? It was the funniest, think about how stupid that is, But then at intermission, we all went to get beers. And this is like 1979, 1978. And it was like $3 for a regular Budweiser. And we were like, $3? Man, my mom gave me $2 for the trip. I don't know what the heck we're going to do. So, but that was a big deal. So think about it. I don't know what $3 is worth in 1978 as opposed to 2021, but I'm going to bet you it's probably more than 17. And it wasn't the same amount of liquid either. Sorry for the seg. So, I would go off on these little tangents sometimes. What can I tell you?
Michael T saying Kim is amazingly passionate. That she is. And Alexander also saying here, I was at the game. I was 6 rows from the ice when Hunter did that. Dale Hunter.
I hate Hunter. I've hated him ever since. I don't even like the name Hunter. I don't even like hunters now.
I remember talking to someone who had actually met Dale Hunter and saying that he actually talked to Turgeon and things like that. And Dale Hunter actually did apologize to that. He did apologize to Turgeon about that. He just let his emotions get to him, he said.
Now, let me ask you this. As Turgeon, and again, I'll ask you guys each, how would you, later on down the road, I'm sure you'd be like, whatever, this happened, 15, 20 years ago. In the moment, let's say even that year, tell me what your reaction would have been when Dale Hunter's like, sorry, man, I just took it a little too far. I apologize. I didn't mean to take you out for a year.
You're a jerk.
It's I feel like it's kind of like a Tom Wilson situation today. Do you think Ranger fans are still over him pulling Panarin's hair and smashing him onto the ice? Luckily, Panarin's not hurt, but it feels it's like a same situation. It's just it's going to take time for fans. It takes time, time heals all wounds. But at that moment, it's kind of I don't care. What you did was really stupid, and it's going to take time for me to forgive you.
That cost us a legitimate shot to win the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely.
Because
I would have been off the wall mad.
After that series, and that was the game that clinched it, we wound up beating Pittsburgh, a great, all-time great Pittsburgh team. But Turgeon didn't play that series, and he wound up coming back to play in the Montreal series, but he was still hurt. You could tell. Yeah. And the line wasn't the same.
Yep.
And we lost, I want to say we lost 3 overtime games to Montreal in that series, where if Turgeon was 100% healthy, I feel we win that. And I think we absolutely beat the Kings.
It's the what ifs that kill you. It's the what ifs.
But that was, a cheap shot cost us
Absolutely.
that. A regular injury,
Absolutely.
hey, okay. But I mean, that was a deliberate intent to injure shot that knocked him out. I mean, and he skated a long way across the ice after that goal to take a run at him. A guy's not, you're not prepared for that when you're out there celebrating. You're not prepared for some guy to steam. I'm trying to think of what movie it was where you see a guy just run and steamroll somebody after the play is over. I can't remember it. It'll come to me tonight in the middle of the night.
That's why I got so mad these recent playoffs where when I think it was Barzal scored and a Tampa player like hit him after the goal. Like especially just anything like it's like remotely similar, I lose my mind.
That's a Kucherov special.
Kucherov. I wanted to give you a compliment, Grump, and I forgot earlier, but you have not messed up Vladdy Tarasenko's name not a once today.
I've been on my toes today.
We've Look got like a ballerina.
There it is. Thank you. Ballerina days in action. I love it. Scott L said, Grump, be lucky that Lou on the landline calls you.
He should be lucky that I take his calls.
I say flip it right there. Jerry B saying, question for Grump, were you personally affected by the death of ECW wrestler New Jack?
No. No. I watched the show. It's on Vice Network. Wrestling in the show. I don't know what the heck it's called. I don't know what it's called. But it's a show like digs in deep some wrestling things. And they had one on New Jack this last year. And man, talk about how unrepentant he was for what he did to that kid, where he carved him up really, really bad, and just
something I have no idea about. So
yeah, I know.
Well, you got to give me a lot of context.
Okay, ECW was hardcore wrestling.
Yeah,
and they had some kid, young boy. I think he was like 17 years old, a big kid, big overweight kid, and New Jack was a real badass. And he says, you could do whatever you want to me. And the kid was still underage, I believe. And he tried to get some offense on New Jack. And New Jack took a fork and just carved up his head, deep gashes. They had to stop the bout. The kid was hemorrhaging blood. And he's dead now, too. I mean, this thing had a negative effect on him. But he was totally unrepentant for what he did to this kid. Well, he should have known getting into that ring. No, dude, you're supposed to protect the younger talent. You know what? I mean, it's a work, first of all, right? So,
Wrestling's not real.
It's a work, okay? Don't say it's not real, because when these guys are slammed, they're actually getting slammed. But it's a work, okay? You protect your partner when you're in that ring, okay? And he should have protected his partner, and he didn't. And he acted like a jerk because he didn't like what the kid said. And his dad, and he tried to justify it, after, the kid's dad was yelling at him, and, so he deserved what he got. I'm like, no, dude, you're supposed to protect your partner in there. And he did this with other guys too, even after his Halicon days in ECW, just beating the hell out of old men and carving them up. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry. So am I sad that he's dead? Yeah, I don't wish anybody dead, but certainly not a good guy, if you know what I mean.
Thanks for giving us the background, Grump. Michael B said, if we don't add a top line winger, should we have a fire sale at the deadline? I'll let Kim answer this first, and I'll let you then jump in, Grump.
Don't have a fire sale at the deadline. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. It's just like, would it suck not to get a top line winger? Yeah, I'm banking on Tarasenko right now. But just, not like fire sale, but definitely like how we got Pajot. Just like look for the pieces, look for something that's gonna fit. Just try to acquire something that will just be a nice fit for the team. But I don't think we go wholesale fire.
From my perspective, it all depends where we are in the standings, of course. Now, if we're, sixth in the standings, I don't think we are, by the way. But if we're not, okay, maybe we can squeeze in the playoffs. I'm not opposed to moving out older pieces. The problem we're going to have is most of our older pieces are signed to long-term deals, and teams are not going to want those players. You don't have guys on expiring contracts who are worth anything that teams are going to want to trade for. And that's going to be an issue with that going forward. I think it's going to be difficult to move the older players if that's where we trade.
I'm saying worst case scenario, even if by the trade deadline we're in fifth, we're going to double down and reinvest back in the team just because I think the structure of the way it is. I know you're not going to like it, Grump, but I think that's what we're going to do just because I don't even think we're going to be in fifth. I don't think it's going to be an issue. We're going to be in the playoff picture. We're going to be a team that's looking to help bolster their lineup. I think we are going to add at the trade deadline. And just like as you said, older players don't have expiring contracts. Sure, if they did, I'd understand it, but too much term.
I absolutely do not want to move first-round draft picks.
I can promise you, you know what? Put money in the bank. Take this to Vegas. We're moving a first-round draft pick. I don't care where we are next year. We're moving a first-round draft pick to help the lineup. I don't care we could be first team in the entire NHL, not having lost a single game. I still think we would go ahead and make an addition of a first-round draft pick. I really do.
If this team is the same team that we're bringing back next year, we are not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Period. End of sentence. End of story. Not good enough. Because you're bringing back the same team as last year, which wasn't good enough to win the cup. Other teams have improved. Keep people forgetting. Carolina is in our division. Carolina gives us a world of hurt. Their playing style is death to us. So we maybe don't even get as far as we've gotten the last 2 years because Carolina is like kryptonite to us. That worries me. I mean, we need Tarasenko. I'm with Kim. I'm all in for Tarasenko.
Speaking of Tarasenko there, Talal asked there. I also want to ask you this because I've asked Grumpy and I've asked Tommy B. Now, if you're taking, how confident are you feeling that we're going to get Tarasenko, that we're going to land a big fish? I'll say I was very bullish on it. I was saying, I was thinking 90% chance. I think I'd be more shocked if we didn't than if we did. I almost am expecting it at this point. I'm not sure if it's because I have dreamt this into reality for me or if that's how it really is looking. Grumpy old man, I know. What are you putting the percentage at again, Grump?
I don't know what I put it at last time. Did I say 50-50?
I know Tommy B said 50-50.
Oh, then I probably said less than 50-50 then.
Whatever Tommy B said, you said I go less than.
I mean, talk about riding a fence. I'm guarantee I didn't say 50-50. So I probably said maybe 20%. I feel, but I do say that I feel more confident when we're not announcing contract signings, it makes me feel that there's still an option. If you see us, Kyle Palmieri signed for this one signed for that. Okay, we're not getting him. And you remember at the beginning of the offseason, I predicted that Lou Lamoriello would do nothing to actually improve the team because it's not what he's ever done in the offseason. And so far, once again, I've been proven right. I hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, Lou, please. But we'll see.
Kim, where are you?
Kim, how long does it take you to put your lipstick on? I have to ask.
Couple minutes.
Man, she's good because, I mess it up. I mean, I know I'm not a skilled professional, but, I mean, it just takes me a while. And I look at it, I'm like, hers looks good still. And I look at mine, it's like, you know what? It looks kind of stupid over here.
No.
I should have done, I just, I'm in the presence of a true professional who knows how to use makeup, and I'm just not.
But like Grumpy said, he made a good point. The less you hear, the better it is, especially with like the Lou regime. That means that we are, and from what I've seen is that we're still in the talks for Tarasenko. Apparently, Islanders are still in it, and I like Lou. I feel like he's a very persuasive guy. I feel like he can really get stuff done. I have faith in there. It's just, you saw he tried to I don't know if you guys saw Robin Leonard did an interview. And they talked about, with him not re-signing with his team. And he said that, he knew Lou's plan was to get a package deal for Panarin and Varlamov. As you can see, Panarin, that didn't fall out. So it's just like that is where I get a little scared when you talk about those big acquisitions and seeing them choose another team in the end. And I don't know. I put it at maybe like 40%.
I just feel that Lou never has a plan B.
I just don't want to get my hopes up. And true. I don't know if he has a plan B.
It's either plan A is let's bring Tavares back, or let's sign Panarin, or let's go after Tarasenko. And if it doesn't work, well, we're just going to remain status quo. Yeah. And I just, I think you should have, okay, if we don't get this guy, let's move on to plan B. We do want to improve the team. Rolling out the same cast and crew every year is not improving the team.
He can't think that far.
Woo!
I was about to say, you better watch how you associate with us, the two negative Nancys over here, because you're going to get branded as, hey, John Ledecky might not be inviting you back to those private parties anymore. We better watch out. We got a bad rap in the Islanders community.
Here's the thing. I think Lou can make magic. I think, like I said, I think he's a persuasive guy. I think he's done some, great signings. Some, Leo Komarov, not so great signings. But, and I agree with you guys. You got to be real sometimes. You got to be critical. You're allowed to say, you know what? I don't really like this. I don't like where this is going. And I'm not going to get my hopes up for, I had my hopes up to here for like, we're getting Panarin. And look what freaking happened. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that for Tarasenko. If we get him, I'll be like, you know what, Lou, I gained a lot of respect for you. Thanks for getting this done. But if it doesn't, I'm going to be like, I'm not surprised.
Nice rebound after slamming Lou there. I want to make sure that was nice. You did that. Nice segue for the rebound. That's cool. I remember where I was when I heard that Panarin signed with the Rangers. I remember where I was walking my neighborhood, and I can tell you the street and where I was on. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. 15 minutes ago, we were penciled in that he was signed here. I was so ecstatic. I'm like, it's exactly what we need with Barzal. And then I got right down this little side street, this little house where these couple old people live, and it's like, he signed with the Rangers. I'm like, God, gosh, not good.
You let some explicatives out. Was that what that was, Grump?
No, I said it just like that.
Especially to your rival team. That just hurt.
Well, no, see, it doesn't even bother. It's just the fact we didn't get him. That would bother me the most.
Even though we've been disappointed before in the past, I still feel unbelievably optimistic, and I hope this is not just blind optimism that I might have. I hope it's not, Grump. Hopefully, I think of myself, I try to look at it objectively. I really do believe that that's why they're keeping everything sound, is because Tarasenko is just about a lock. It's a done deal. We're just negotiating a little bit here and there. Maybe I will say it is a little concerning that it continues to go on and on and on. I'm not going to be worried until training camp rolls around, but I still feel confident.
I'm going to tell you what, if Pellick's arbitration hearing wasn't supposed to be on August 11th, we wouldn't even heard that he's signed yet.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, if they had the Tarasenko.
There it is.
Tarasenko,
but at least it's better than Transenko.
Yeah, don't go there. So if Vladdy, if that trade has already been wrapped up, that already would have come out.
That's for certain. Eric saying, I don't know if you guys discussed this on a different podcast, but what are your thoughts on the Islanders AHL team rebranding as the Bridgeport Islanders?
We already kind of talked about this.
Mine's going to be short, and then I'll let Kim talk about it. Stupid and unnecessary. That's all I'll say.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell. Like, I get it wasn't like the most profitable farm team ever. It just. I was actually talking to my parents about this today. Oh God, that logo. It's so creative. I was talking to my parents about this today too. Like, why didn't they bring the farm team to the Collie? And I can understand like travel purposes. All the teams are upstate, or north of us, and it's just easier travel. And I get that. It's just, but the rebranding of it, I thought the Sound Tiger was such an awesome logo. It was fierce. It was just something that you just it was pleasing to the eye, and something it doesn't have to be like a sound tiger. What's a Sound Tiger? Who cares? It's just like if we had it was the Long Island Sound. And we placed that because it was based off because we had the Long Island Sound below Connecticut. And then you had the Tigers. So Sound Tigers. I thought it was cute. It was a nice way to incorporate something of Long Island, the sound in there. And have just a cool mascot and logo and have fun with it. But the Bridgeport Islanders, which they're not even on the island. No. It's just lame. It's boring. It's not pleasing to the eye. That just looks so stupid. It looks like a third grader could have drawn that. I'm sorry. I feel like my kindergartner ass could have drawn better than the person who actually made that logo. Real intuitive, guys. You put a stick in the B.
Grump always says it looks like one of those coloring contests. They say, hey guys, you're coming to Outback Steakhouse or Longhorn Steakhouse. Whoever draws the best New York or the Bridgeport Islanders logo is going to be placed on the actual uniform.
I mean,
And then you just and I brought this up before my Bolt Duke, and you look at something like this. How fierce does that freaking look?
it just looks better.
It looks so much better. It looks fierce. It's like this is something I want to wear.
Yeah.
I was so stoked to get a Sound Tigers jersey because of how fierce and how awesome it looks.
They are going to sell no merchandise with
None. Absolutely.
There's you could not pay me to wear that jersey. I mean, I guess if you gave it to me for free, I'd wear it, but I
am so glad I bought my jersey when I did. I literally told all my friends, I was like, I'm so glad I bought that jersey when I did, because that's the logo I want.
The Hockey News used to put out every year the minor league logos ranked first to worst. I don't know if they do that anymore. Probably not. But this one would be absolutely the worst.
Everyone want to move up a space? Well, here you go.
There you
go. Michael T talking about if you had a chance to interview Barry Trotz, Michael T said Trotz would put grumpy old man in the corner, sucking his thumb, sobbing.
I guarantee you that would not be the case. I absolutely guarantee you that would not be the case. I might get thrown out. Let me tell you something. He'd never turn me into a puddle. That much I can guarantee you. There's nothing he could say to me that would make me cry. Nothing.
George B saying hands of stone was Grabner.
True.
Oh, he did. But man, did he have some speed?
Yeah. How many?
At least he had that. What does Komarov have?
Yeah, nothing.
He's good on a penalty kill and he can win the faceoff.
Ooh, but that you need more than just a penalty killer.
That's what everybody will tell you. Hey, he's a great guy on the faceoff dot. He kills the penalty.
He's marginal in the.
Hey, Arthur Staples said he was a bona fide first line left winger. He was really coming into form.
That's drinking the Kool-Aid. Keep drinking.
I read that Arthur Staple article and I was like, Arthur, I know you want to keep your media pass, but come on, dude.
maybe that's why I don't have a media pass.
Oh no, hell no! Like it's
Grump, you could apply for media. It doesn't matter how large this ever were to grow. You could apply for a media pass. They'd go, okay, let's go ahead. Oh, the grumpy old man. Oh no, I'm sorry, Grumpy. We can't let you have a media pass. Even though you could have more eyes and more viewers than anything else, but no, Grumpy old.
What Kool-Aid he's sipping on?
It just makes me angry. That's all. Hate is a great motivator.
Ariel C said Lou must have something in the pipeline by not announcing any signings other than Pelix. Yeah. If we weren't in on somebody else like a Tarasenko, the signings would have been announced.
Agreed.
And that's exactly the point Grumpy made. And obviously she said this way before, but yeah, no, exactly what Grumpy said. And that's good signs. Good signs. Honestly, we're not hearing anything. Positive sign.
As soon as we hear the signings start rolling out, and if we haven't done anything like a Tarasenko,
we're screwed.
Then yeah.
Yikes.
Then my prediction is right again for the offseason.
Grump, I really hope, I'll say this, I really hope your prediction is not right. I hope that you're just stuck in thinking that the same status quo is going to happen every year. And maybe this is me continuing to buy. Maybe I am being a fan here by saying, hey, this is finally the year where we make a big splash in the offseason. But I hope that's not true.
They don't call me Grumpstradamus for a reason.
Ariel C said Trotz is a Hall of Fame coach for sure, and there are things that he has done for this team I'll always be grateful for, but he has one cup in 30 years?
Yeah,
he's like 24 some odd.
Yeah. Like 4 or 5 years? Like 4 years, and they win. Didn't Caps?
I think he's talking about his entire coaching career.
Yeah, he's talking about his entire coaching career with Nashville.
30 years. Okay.
Yeah. For me, Barry Trotz is an excellent regular season coach. I don't think he's a great playoff coach. And the main reason is because he's married to a certain idea. And I think for him, it's difficult to make the necessary adjustments that sometimes you have to within a game and a series, that sometimes you kind of have to go against what your norm is if necessary. I just think he struggles with that.
Yeah, and I'll also let Kim tackle that one too.
I love Trotz, I really do.
No, I was just talking to Jeff. I was just popping that one up too. Because, and again, he has had. I think Grump brings up a good point. It's Trotz is an excellent regular season coach. He took this team from cellar dweller, laughing stock, him and Lou, elevated status and completely changed the image of the Islanders. Crazy to think that happened overnight. Honestly, it was a dream. If you asked any Islander fan, back when we had Doug Waite and Gar Snow, if you said, hey, within 1 year, you guys are going to be competing in the playoffs, you are going to change your image to where no longer you're laughing stock, you're a team that might still be not getting the respect it deserves. You're going to be a team, though, that can really fight in the playoffs. I think everybody said, sign me up. I would definitely have been one of those people, too.
I remember when they were signed. I remember when Lou was signed. I remember Barry's first press conference.
Yep.
They felt that they had the talent on this team to win a Stanley Cup. They didn't think a lot of changes were needed. After the first year, they knew they needed a goal scorer.
Yep.
They come out and said it. We know we need to add a goal scorer. And they haven't, and that's on Lou. They haven't been able to do it. And to me, that's a failure. That being said, and everyone knows I'm critical at times of Lou and Barry, but they have brought a level of respectability that the Islanders have not had since the early 1990s.
Yeah.
And those are just facts.
The only thing I'll kind of defend Lou on this is, like they like, I agree. They came out and they said, we need a goal scorer. And it was like finally nice to see like management who saw our flaws and was finally like being able to pick it out and be like to know to change it. But like to be critical about Lou for the first, 2 years, I'd say, of like him being in this organization, it's hard because we were a laughing stock. We had to kind of prove ourselves to players around this league that they were like, I will drop my trade clause to come to that team. I will drop like a no movement. Oh, like we had to be appealing, and we weren't that those first. We had to prove ourselves first as a team. Lou couldn't bring these guys over because we kind of had to prove ourselves that this is a team you want to join.
I look at it as, is this a team that's really appealing if you're an offensive player when you're going to have to subjugate your offensive game to play a defense-first system? And I think maybe that hurts us, not in a trade, but for free agents perhaps. They're like, you know what? I'm scoring, 35 goals here and 60 assists, whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out, of course. And if I go to play for the Islanders, I'm going to score maybe 20 and 25. Is that what I want to do when it comes contract time? And, that's just kind of the way I look at it, potentially.
I think Kim had a really good point, and she talks about the changing of the atmosphere of free agents, players waiving no trade clause possibly to go to the Islanders. I think it's a really good point. And to be fair and honest, I don't like the Leo Komarov contract, but I'll play devil's advocate here because, again, I want to be as fair and honest as possible. Do you guys think, let's say Leo Komarov was a free agent this offseason and he was looking for some sort of contract, and we'll predate him. We'll say he was 3 years younger. I think Leo Komarov would have taken a cheaper deal to sign with the Islanders than the $3 million he was now, because the evolution of the laughing stock to the contender has already taken place. And if they wanted Leo, I think he would come in there for cheaper. But, as you were trying to convince people, I think it was tougher. You still had to overpay possibly some of those individuals.
No one has taken below market deal here. No one.
Adam Pelech.
Okay.
Yeah,
you might say Adam Pelech.
Yeah.
But what do defensive defensemen get paid? He doesn't put any points up. So is he in that $9 million range? No, he's not.
Yeah, so neither is Nurse. And look,
Nurse puts up more points than Pelech does.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I thought Nurse's contract signing was terrible.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
The Jones contract, Werenski, all wildly overpaid. I think this is commensurate with his talent, 5.75. That said, I feel at the end, the thing that I liked best is it's an 8-year deal, and you get all of his prime years. Right now, is he worth $5.75 million? I'll ask you this question.
Yes.
If he signed for $5.75 million last offseason, do you think he would have been overpaid?
No.
Oh, absolutely yes. Last year,
going into last year, but after looking at how he played, no.
Okay, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about after last year. If he was a free agent last year, no defensive was making that, or defensive defense was making that kind of money last year. None of them. The defenseman market is jacked up this offseason, so it makes him seem really affordable. And
it's inflated for certain.
Yeah. That's my point. What I want to see is what's the Palmieri contract going to be? Yep. What's the Zajac contract with bonuses going to be?
Yeah.
What's the Parise contract going to be with bonuses? Because you look at Andy Green, right? Oh, it looks like it was a good deal with $790 million, whatever it was. But then you tack on 1.3 and freaking bonuses. That's no bargain for a 38-year-old. I'm sorry. Did he have a market? I don't think so. Where was he going to go? You didn't need to give him that. I feel like he just throws some unnecessary money away at players.
We'll
now,
see.
If you get Casey,
going to break the trend.
If you get Casey at 2.5, even though I don't like a 6-year deal, I'd rather take that than 5 years, 3.5, because that's an overpay for him. But 2.5, I'm able to live with, even though he won't see the end of that contract.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and it keeps
Sorry, Cam.
keeps Casey on the island. Jeremy Ford also saying, I would want to know who is a good teacher on the coaching staff that can get Bellows to the next level, as opposed to you're not doing it right and you sit.
I think that comes right from the top, not Lou, but from Barry.
Oh yeah.
I think Lane Lambert could do marvelous work with him. I really do. I like Kiefer Bellows. I'm sorry. I want to see him get a legitimate shot. You know what, Kiefer? We're going to play you 20 games on the third line. Let's see what you can do.
Yep.
And let's see if, all right, so you made a defensive error. We're not going to yank you out. We're going to let you play through it.
And what we're going to do is next day in film, we're going to discuss where you made mistakes. We're going to talk about how you're going to approach that. I'm not going to take an immediate jerk reaction and say, oh my God, he just got a holding penalty. Oh my God, he just let a person blindside a quarterback. Oh my God, he just went ahead and didn't mark his man on the way back. Oh, he lost his assignment. You're going to sit for the next 10 minutes. No, we're going to wait. We're going to ride it out. And, in film the next day, that's where we're going to go ahead and teach you what's going on. And we're going to say, this is why you're sitting. This is why this is happening, instead of making that knee-jerk reaction on the ice.
TJ, I would like to compliment you on making an actual salient point this podcast. It's your first one. Good job.
It only took a little over 2 hours, Grump. Hey, you know what? What do they say? A blind squirrel or the sun shines on a dog's ass twice a day.
That's what they say.
Moving right along here. Eric's. Oh, I'm sorry. We already covered that. D-Cut said, fire TJ, hire D-Cut. Grumpy. Oh, there I am. Hold on. No. Did you remember how Kim just did it where she wasn't all over?
No, I don't remember how Kim did. I told her I couldn't do it.
Very good. Very good, Grump. I love it. You got it there. And then Michael T said, it's crazy to think, but I believe I'd be happier to win a cup Barry and Lou's way than fans like the grumpy old man who prefer it to be more than their way.
Totally disagree.
We have no choice.
Well, there you go. Of course, I'd rather win it with my way, because this way we win a cup and it makes me look great too. But that said, all I care, and like I said, if we would have won last year, it's the greatest achievement by the Islander franchise ever. I mean, if that happens, I'm more than willing to admit that I was wrong. But we know that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
And Alexander's saying here, there's some things that Barry does that makes me want to pull my hair out. I feel like that's every coach. And it's across all sports too. As fans, you say, hey, I'm able to look at it from, I'm not involved in the day-to-day action, so I can see exactly what I see on the field. I don't get bogged down with maybe this player in practice does this drill really well. Maybe this player looks really good on the situations we've been putting him in practice, but he's not translating and carrying over the game. We're fortunate to where all we get to look at is the actual game performance, where coaches will take a lot more into context, where we don't have to. We say, what's the bottom line result? D-Cut also saying, cancel the human ambient appearance on Wednesday. Ratings will be in the toilet. Oh no,
that's Kim. Just if you don't know, that's Phil Fax. I don't know if you know him at all.
Well,
not personally, no.
But you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay. He's another one of TJ's little buddies. They have some type of correspondence back and forth. So I expect them both to be coming out attacking the grumpy old man. Of course, it won't be a fair fight. I'll destroy them easily.
So I was trying to get the other point of view. I said, this is a chance where grumpy old man's on a power play, but not really. But I had to, because Grump always says this. Well, D-Cut has got a possible reason. He said, Phil Fax cuts my hair. Now he's getting an appearance on the show. Phil Fax, I need my hair cut. So if that's the case, if Phil's cut my hair, we're going to have to set up a little barbershop appointment.
Is Phil a barber?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what Phil does. I know that Phil looks an awful lot like Barry Trotz. At least that's what his insignia or logo is on Twitter. So I don't think he's going to be doing any type of face reveal. I think he's just going to live in anonymity. So maybe we just might see Barry Trotz's stock image for a few hours.
Maybe he is Barry Trotz.
Oh my! But he doesn't sound like Barry. You think he's doing an impersonation to not sound like Barry when he calls
Very
him?
possible, and I think he's spitting out anything to make himself look good.
That would explain why he's so knowledgeable on most items he brings up, very salient points. Maybe because he is Barry Trotz. Maybe he's on the inside. I will say it's kind of odd that he's got all this time as well. Sometimes he calls us like right after the game. So maybe Barry sneaks away outside like in a private locker room. Is like, let me call into the TJ the Grumpy Old Man show.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eye out for this Phil Fax guy.
Oh my goodness, we love it. We love Phil Fax. I'm sure D-Cut he's just new shoe goofing, new boot.
Oh, you don't need to make excuses for D-Cut.
I'm not making excuses for anybody.
Stop making excuses.
I'm not making excuses when he's saying fire TJ hire D-Cut either. I know he's just new shoe goofing. That's all, Grump.
What the heck does that even mean?
It's a TikTok.
Sounds stupid to me.
It is. I knew you wouldn't get it. That's why I said it. Michael T said, Kim, when you have haters, it only means you're doing something and other people are jealous of.
There you go. Right? I told you that, Kim. You don't need to listen to Michael T. Just piggybacking off of my comment.
Michael T.
He's not bright enough to come up with it on his own.
Michael T. saying Johnny Gaudreau is healthy.
No, I don't want to hear about Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau is a one-year guy for us. He's going to go to Philadelphia, and that'll really drive me crazy.
Losing Johnny Gaudreau. Paulo C. said, Grumpy, the worst series loss, it was to Toronto in 1978, but there was no way we beat Montreal that year. To me, it was all to Montreal in 1993. After upsetting Pittsburgh, we had a great chance to win the Cup.
I think we were the best team in the NHL in 78, and maybe we didn't have enough grit to get us through to beat Montreal. I don't know. But that was, for me, that was losing to Toronto there. We never should have lost to them. The one, like I said, we lost to Montreal, those are games that we could have won. If we had Turgeon, we would have won. And the only thing that bothered me about that, you got to remember, Patrick Roy was unconscious in that playoff year for Montreal. And Kim, you don't know this, neither does TJ, of course. So I know you're probably just taking a mental break right now.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just like, okay, clock in, clock out. Let me go ahead and start reading some comments as Grumpy Old Man's regaling on the old days. All righty. I won't provide any context here.
I know about Patrick Roy. I know about him.
I
know him. He was fun as a coach. He was fun to watch as a coach, but
he is. But he was sensational in that playoff year.
But he's considered one of the greatest goaltenders.
But I still think if we had Turgeon, a healthy Turgeon, that we would have beaten them. We were on a magical ride too. That's what people forget, right? And to me, that was a tough loss, and that was the end for the Islanders. That was the end. That year was the end for us. And then we went to
we made to the Eastern Conference Finals.
We went into the doldrums for years and years and years and years. We had the Milbury years. We had the Charles Wang years. We had the Milsteins. I mean, it was a disaster after that.
You can hate on Charles Wang, but I still respect him.
Well, he was just cheap. No. He was just cheap. Without him, there are no New York Islanders. We would have lost the franchise.
Cheap, but he was going to use his own money out of his pocket to build us a new arena.
But he didn't because he
couldn't.
But that's
that shit. He couldn't. Kane Murray said he couldn't, and
they didn't want to give
51%.
Well, yeah, he wanted to build the new stadium, but it was in conjunction for building the real estate. Yes,
center.
Yes.
Guess what's with UBS?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was politics that stopped it for certain, but he certainly did not invest in the team. That's all.
He couldn't. He was losing like $2 million a year on the team.
Oh, you know what? I found a hotspot button on Kim.
Any bad speaking about Charles Wang?
I
wasn't first. I wasn't
mad respect. One of my closest friends actually played on the Lady Islanders with his daughter. He like you said, he kept this team on Long Island. He tried his best in his ability to renovate the Coliseum to make this team, a viable team as much as he could, losing money. He was going to pay out of his own pocket. He really did put his best foot forward. May he rest in peace. Like, I just, saying he didn't care is such BS to me.
I didn't say he didn't care. I just said he didn't invest in the team.
Do you want to hear something funny too?
Well, no, I just want to say one more thing. So in other words, all I have to do is have a friend of Kim who plays ice hockey with somebody else, the owner's daughter, and she wouldn't pick on him. Is that correct? I want to make sure I got it right.
Just got to know him and his family just a little bit that more, and just know how much he cared. I know how much he cared for the Islanders. That's all.
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying we had the lowest payroll in the league, period, and we had to take on contracts just to get to the floor.
Tim Thomas,
guys who aren't even playing. It means you're not investing in the team, and I understand there are reasons. But still, without him, there are no New York Islanders. The team would have moved. And I always give him credit for that, but he did not invest in the team. He did not.
Do you want to hear something funny? Now, our Facebook page, I started originally in 2013. It was actually in conjunction with this movement that was called Walkout on Wong. That was actually how we had started the Facebook page in 2013, where I think that was during some real low time periods. And it's funny to look back on, you're like, oh man, that was 8 years ago. It was like nobody ever did, I think, the actual walkout on Wong, but it was like, I think it was social media, like, oh man, we're all gonna walk out.
That's like everyone saying they were gonna invade Area 51 and then no one showed up.
Like, it was very comparable to that. Nothing actually happened.
People have so many words, but then they don't put those words into action.
Do you want to hear also something funny? I was banned from commenting ever on a New York Islanders post again because I said, yeah, we're going to walk out on Wong. So on Facebook, I could not make any comments on the New York Islanders because 8 years ago, I was a little rebel. I was like, yeah, we're going to walk out on Wong, ladies and gentlemen. So even though grumpy old man, if they were to see the Facebook, they're like, oh, hold on a second. This guy was the one who was doing the walk out on Wong. Yeah, he's not getting his media pass either.
They probably don't even remember. They're like, we blocked him.
They don't remember, but I've been blocked forever, and that block will never be removed.
I've never been blocked from anything.
I don't think you've ever had anything, have you?
Well, there you go.
Scott L said, my brother used to work for the Islanders during the Milbury era, and Chara, when he was in the first or second year, came to my house and had dinner. Very cool experience. That is
really
crazy.
Cool.
I met Mike Milbury the first game that the Carolina Hurricanes played. It was an exhibition game in Greensboro Coliseum, and they were like, and Char was on the team, and there were like, I don't know, maybe 500 fans there, and I was sitting there with my son, and I'm like, oh, I said, that's Mike Milbury sitting over there. My dad was there, and I just walked on over, and we had a nice conversation. I like Mike Milbury. I really do. And, but was never a good general manager. And here's one thing. Charles Wang was loyal to a fault. Now, that says more about him as a person as opposed to an owner. But, I mean, he was loyal to his guy.
Yeah.
Milbury, you can summon him. You just go to any hockey arena and go, Milbury, come here, Milbury.
Oh, look at Grumpy. He lost connection. He spoke positively about Mike Milbury, and the powers that be said, I banish you, Grumpy. Oh, hey, Grumpy. How are you?
I made it to top square. Let's go.
I was going to say, Grumpy, now you've been removed. Kim is the new co-host on the show, Grumpy. You've been removed.
That's not a mistake. I'm not surprised.
I had my boy Phil Fax. I said, Phil Fax, execute order 66. Take Grumpy out of the stream. And that's what happened.
And that's the type of respect I get on this podcast, Kim.
2 minutes of pessimistic saying, I love the orange and blue black Grumpy.
You know what? My pal, 2 minutes of pessimistic, I thought about him this week. I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen any comments from him recently. I wanted to just make sure he was okay. And I hope Mrs. Pessimistic is doing well too.
Pessimisticking. But yeah, it's a good thing.
First of all, it says pessimistic, not pessimisticking.
Okay. I know it's because it doesn't include the whole name.
Okay.
So trust me. Two Mets pessimistic also saying good thing about the current shit is I think he maybe
situation.
Sit. I saw sit. I'm like, maybe he meant to say shit. I don't know. Is that it forces Lou not from the landline to play younger players. I don't get when people give me the abbreviations. Please don't give me the abbreviations because as much as you think
but it said SIT. It said SIT.
I read that as sit. And I thought maybe he meant to say shit. I don't know.
Well, how many times are you going to say
how would you abbreviate it with a period at the end?
I just can't read. I'm not good with the abbreviations is what it is. Okay. And I mess up a lot more.
All right. You're like, okay, all of a sudden you learn a new dirty word and you feel like you got to say it every 2 minutes.
Grump. How many times did I say it? What, like a few times? What's wrong?
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, moving right along. Brian P. said, Grumpy is a celebrity. She paid to cut his hair.
Ooh.
Hell
yeah.
Iron tight, baby. Woo.
Drew S. saying, it says a lot about the grumpy old man that he has nightmares about McDonald's goals and not euphoric dreams about the 4 straight Stanley Cup victories.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Why not?
I'm not touching that one.
Oh.
There's so many directions I can take that in, and most of them just get me in trouble.
So. Okay. Well, you know what? Usually if you're going to tell me that, that's okay. We're going to move right along there. Brian B. said, oh, please, can we stop the 4th line praise? Ugh, they're finished. Get over it.
Just in case you don't know Kim, Brian is my brother from another mother, without a doubt.
I know him and my brother I saw were like chatting it up in the chat right there. I'm like, of course.
Two Mets pessimistic also saying, I would love a video seeing Butchie explain the E=MC². I would love it too because he'd be all over the place and it'd be awesome to watch.
You know what? The best video I saw last year was him knocking AJ Malesko off a puck on a faceoff.
I do remember that in the pregame.
And she was trying, and Butch, he's a 70-year-old man who's half her size, and he just bodied her off. And he's over there chuckling, and she was trying to. He's like, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But I absolutely love that segment. I really did. They need to do more stuff like that, honestly. Yeah. They really do. AJ's gone, thank goodness, because now I will have the worst hair of any Islander match. Yes, she's going to be working for ESPN.
Oh, crap. I didn't even realize she left the MSG broadcast.
Yeah. No loss.
Stop, Grumpy.
Okay. Will you admit that she didn't improve from last year to this year? I think she improved from her first year to her second year.
But I don't want to say anything about AJ, though, is that I appreciate that, as a player, she had that, like, a lot of player perspectives when watching the game, the things that, I couldn't really explain, but she could. And she was able to see, like, especially, like, with certain plays or crashing net or shooting, she was able to really explain those things that were, I was kind of learning for her in that way.
Yeah, I didn't say she was poor at her job. I thought, because I like what she brought, but I just think if you got her, she was good when you gave her something specifically to talk about. She was good at it. When she had to ad lib a little bit, she struggled with that.
It comes, they say it usually takes 10,000 hours to perfect your craft. And again, she was second year of doing it. So it doesn't shock me at all that
first and foremost, hockey was her life. She didn't go into sports commentary. I think she did a decent job.
Some people have this charisma and just like you and me, Grumpy. I don't have the charisma. Grumpy has the charisma on the show. So, he's easier to be ad-libbing. I would sound like a robot a little bit out there. So I'd be more of a Brendan Burke type, Grump. I would have to be,
you are like a Brendan Burke type. You are.
Yeah, I would say, I'm waiting for
you're
Butchie and you're Brendan.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you're messing up every day.
He's messing up names. Like, he's a perfect person.
You know what? It was unnecessary for you to feed her that line. I'd rather she come up with her own than having you feed it to her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I knew she was going to get it.
He's a perfect color commentator.
Michael T. said, Mayfield is better than Hedman. Come on, Grump, with a little smirk on.
I never said he was better than Hedman.
You're a little hot. He's trying to goat you.
He's goating you, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They troll me. That's all right.
They troll you, huh?
I chew them up and spit them out.
Brett W. said Parise more like doo-doo than the PP line at this point.
Ooh, that's nice.
I have the sense of humor of a 5-year-old. I gotta stop.
He's a poo-poo.
Brian P said, there we go. We can't have a show without somebody talking about the fourth line. The Islanders might fold if they lose the Geezer fourth line. Thanks, Don Cherry of 2014, when we made that fourth line comment.
Because he was right.
He was.
He was right. He's not right now, but he was back then in 2014.
I agree. I don't think he's right now. I wouldn't say we have still the best fourth line, but I still think they're still an effective line.
Kim, I should have warned you. We have a salty bunch of commenters.
Oh, I saw him. I saw him coming up, and I was.
I see. I'm very far behind on the comments. So I'm very far behind on the comments. So hopefully I don't lose some. Paul O.C. said we better get Tarasenko because our first line with Leo looked like the fourth line at times.
I agree.
Yeah, but okay. Now, as much as I say, let's say you bring Palmieri back, which so I guess he's
coming back.
He'll be right. So he'll be the replacement for Eberle. You get Lee back. Maybe they get a chemistry there. I don't know. But so Leo would not be on the first line again. All right. So, I mean, I don't think we need to worry about that.
Well, we're looking to get rid of him. So,
Well, it'd be great, right? I mean, isn't that optimally you'd want to move that guy?
Yo, Arizona, you looking for more?
But I don't think. I mean, Arizona's taken on a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's smart. Getting all the picks that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be the worst team. We're going to pick first, and we're rebuilding from the studs up.
It's what Buffalo should be doing.
Buffalo's got some talent on their team, though.
One their biggest talent is leaving, though, and honestly, I just feel like Buffalo's just gotta bomb the whole organization and just start over from. They gotta reset, and I think they should be doing what Arizona is doing. They gotta reset the whole thing.
Oh, that's a tough sell after you just did that 3 years ago. That's a tough sell.
It is, but you have to face the music. With their performances last year, something's got to be done. Something has got to be done.
Well, when you bring in Ralph Kruger as your head coach, whose last coaching gig was English League Soccer, I don't understand that. I don't think the 4-3-4 works in hockey, considering you only play 5 guys at a time. But that said, the general managership, yeah. Thank you, Butch. The general managership isn't what it should be as well there.
Oh, absolutely not.
That's where the big issue is. They brought a new general manager in there. Who is it, TJ? Who is it? Kevin Adams.
Yeah.
So let's see what he does. It's tough when your best player says, I don't want to play here anymore.
Nothing's happening under the Pagulas. I'm sorry. It's this.
And it's funny.
Buffalo's going to cry of help.
But you say that, but the same thing was true of the Bills, right? You get the right head coach. You get a general manager who knows what he's doing, offensive coordinator who kind of knows what he's doing. You turn the team around in just a couple of years. So it can be done. Let's see if they can do it with the Sabres.
If they get a new owner and they blow up the organization, yeah, I do believe they can.
Start from scratch, new arena.
I really think the Buffalo Sabres need to start from scratch.
They need to start by rebranding back to the 90s Buffalo Sabre uniform. None of this new garbage they've got. That Buffalo Sabres uniform back when they had the Dominic Hassiks, that as a kid, I loved that uniform. I love that emblem. That's the emblem they need to bring back. We talk about retros, bring back the old Buffalo Sabre.
Okay, the old Buffalo Sabres was the real retro, and they had Gilbert Perreault, Richard Montagne.
I'm not talking about
Bear. That's real retro. 1970s retro.
Bring in the recent retro. How about that?
No, never.
Too much special mistaking said, TJ, can you bring up Bailey passing on the breakaway in Columbus in overtime? That would rile up Grumpy.
I just, but that's Josh Bailey, isn't it? I mean, it's what he is. He is what he is. I mean, the fact that I just don't understand the love for him from some aspects. I think that's what gets me most fired up. That people blindly defending this guy who's just a ham and egger. It's just he's just a jag. We're known as Matty and the Jags for a reason.
Matty and the Jags. Michael T saying it's not the PP line, it's the EPP line. What's with the I don't want to call it the payment protection program line. I don't want it to be synonymous with that, the triple P. So I call it the PP line for short. And I think it's a little funny way to do it. I want to call it the payment protection program.
It's inflection. It's the inflection, the way he says it, that just gets me, man.
The PP line. Yeah. And
Dika, you're just so happy to say it. You're like, it's
a guy who studies the
D-Cut said, with that face paint, Grumpy could play third base for the Guardians next season.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
I do like that rebrand of that name. I do like the Guardians. I think it's nice.
Absolutely. And then Mario saying, why would the Blues take Bailey on a Tarasenko trade?
Yeah.
They have $1.5 million in cap space, and they need to re-sign Alexander Steen and Tyler Bozak, who are unrestricted free agents, and Thomas, who is a restricted free agent.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? They don't want to take on any salary. And we'd have to move salary to make that happen. That's what happens when you've already committed money to other guys. You just haven't announced their signings. Well, now we can't make a move because we don't have the money unless we move salary. That's why you don't. Everything should be done in order. What's the most important? Was signing Zach Parise and Travis Zajac to deals, was that really imperative? Was there that much of a market for them that we feel that we needed to sign them, like have them penciled in before the season started? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Just crazy.
Sorry, TJ.
No,
With that cap situation, do you think that's why they're trying so desperate to move Leo?
Who's going to take Leo now, though?
Yeah, I know. We put him on waivers and wanted him for free.
He was the first line guy for us. I don't see them. I mean, like, I'm looking at the roster right now. They're pretty much filled out top to bottom. The only guy that I have to worry about right now is Robert Thomas, who's still a restricted free agent. Everybody else they've got signed and locked up there for temporary time being. I mean, Alexander Steen technically not on the roster at the moment. Here's the thing. They try to bring in other pieces to replace those guys. I'm not too worried about it. I think Tarasenko is not going to want to play there. I'd be shocked if he's going to be happy camper. You don't want to have somebody in the locker room who's going to be a cancer, somebody's going to be unhappy, who's made his intention known that he does not want to be associated with you guys. Long story short, it could really bring down morale. You have a guy out there, he doesn't want to be there. It's hard to mesh as a unit when you have one person who's tugging in the opposite direction. So if you can get something for him, it's worth doing, especially a guy who might have damaged goods and had 3 shoulder surgeries that is unhappy with your organization. I think any plus is better than nothing for them.
We'll see.
Absolutely. Mario also said, I agree with Grumpy. Average Anders. They're breaking out the average Anders again. The thing is, that's been cool. Anders was injured all year long, so I didn't have to worry about battling you on average Anders every single podcast. Now with him coming back, we're gonna be battling out like usual. But Mario says, I agree with Grumpy. Average Anders would not have made the difference. With him, the Islanders made it to Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Without him, they made it to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think what Mario is arguing is that we're a better team without him. That almost sounds like what he's
There's no way in hell we're a better team without Anders than with Anders.
No, I think he would. I think he would have certainly helped us without that. Sorry, are we bothering you? Are we bothering you, DJ? You have a prior engagement or something?
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I got everything set up. I'm getting lights dying over here. I got crummy lights. What can I say? I got to replace them. Crummy batteries. Steven saying Zajac and Komarov combined for 1 goal the entire playoffs. You can't tell me that Wahlstrom wouldn't have scored more than once if he was in the lineup. That decision may have also cost us the cup.
Well, very true. And maybe the fact that, Kyle Palmieri didn't score any goals against Tampa, that hurt us too. 0. How many did Josh Bailey scored against Tampa Bay? 0. It's tough.
We only had 11 goals against Tampa, Grump, so we can go down the line and say a lot of players didn't score against Tampa.
Who's the one offensive player who really showed up against Tampa? One guy.
You're looking for me to say Matt Barzal, which is true.
I'm not looking for you to say anything. I'm asking you a question. I mean, factually, it was Matt Barzal, the one player they had to stop. They said, you know what? We're not going to let Matt Barzal get some points, but we're not in the big games. We're not going to let him beat us. Somebody else on this ham and egger squad is going to have to beat us, and we couldn't do it. That's why we need an upgrade. I want Tarasenko so bad I can taste it. I want him so bad.
I was about to say you could smell it, but I like how you're
imagine.
I love that he acts it out.
Yes. Can you imagine, though? Think about it. A sniper who's able to get into the open spaces like Tarasenko is, and Matt Barzal who creates space, and then you have, the totem pole in front of the net to poke in anything that's laying around after a shot is saved. I just think that would be a really, really good line. Really good line.
Michael T saying Kim's knows her shit. I'm loving it.
Thanks, man.
Michael is a bootlicking weasel.
Christopher C said, "Hey everybody, I would ask Coach Trotz, is why he's not balancing the lines with vets and young players. It builds chemistry more."
I think now here's the thing. I'm not going to rip Barry on that. He knows, he sees the practices every day. He sees who works well with who, right? I mean, that's why you always saw Eberle with Barzell, because they worked well together. Okay, always did, regardless of the results. Barzell liked him. They liked one another. Whatever you need to do to make Matt Barzell comfortable. Okay, I was disappointed, honestly, that he didn't try to put Palmieri up on that first line. You saw when they put Palmieri on the left-hand side, he couldn't do it. He couldn't play on the left-hand side. And I was surprised by that, honestly, being a veteran like that. I mean, wouldn't you want to slide him up on that first line just for, and when he did it for just a speck of time, it seemed like we had a little something going. And he just went right back to the old thing. I just think he's just a creature of habit. And just get used to it, my friends.
D-Cut saying TJ only showing comments from his lackeys.
Yes.
I'm hiding all the positive ones, Grump. Anytime I see, usually there's about, like, I saw one positive one for Kim, Grump. There were like 20 positive ones for you that just got lost. And I'm sorry, Grump. They got lost. I had them, but hey, something happened where I lost them. I apologize, Grump. That being said, moving right along, Drew S said TJ must have gone to a hypnotherapist to get rid of his crutch word. Proud of you, TJ. I haven't said there as much. I haven't had to talk as much, so that's also been a big plus because I don't have to go. They limited my talking, so I don't say there. I'm probably still keeping the same there per minutes, but I'm speaking less, so it sounds more palatable for all the listeners.
Just to let you know, Kim, we've had a drinking game. Whenever TJ says the word there inappropriately, or just in the wrong spot, or just as a pause word, take a shot. But everybody was loaded by 15 minutes in, and we had to shut down the podcast.
Just like my drinking games with the New York Islanders.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness. Anytime they mention Josh Bailey is a smart hockey player.
Oh!
Talking about face-offs as being so...
I had 2 drinking games. One was every time we just, like, gave the puck over. Like, every time we just passed it right to their stick or we just turned the puck over, take a shot. There was one game, like, we were versing, I think, the Flyers, which I know Grumpy's going to get mad about. But I was like, oh, we did it again. Like, we just kept turning the puck over. And then every time we did a blind backwards pass, and that's mostly Josh Bailey. Every time we did a blind backwards pass, take a shot.
How did you like Josh Bailey on the power play? Is that somebody you'd continue to roll out there every game?
No.
Good, thank you. I was going to start questioning everything you've said all night if you would have said
all that one comment would completely...
One comment would have shot you down. So.
It would have completely changed Grumpy's...
No, I wouldn't put Josh Bailey on the power play.
Are there any more
okay, I'm going to come to Josh Bailey's defense. I'm not a big Josh Bailey fan. I think I'm pretty neutral. He is a really good job of distributing the puck. You can't have more than one of him out there on the ice. When you had Leddy and you have Barzal, Josh Bailey doesn't need to be on the ice. He's just there to help facilitate the offense. He's never going to shoot the puck on the power play. What, 2 power play goals in the last 200 some odd games?
You mean passing it to nobody?
No,
exactly. He needs to. Hey, if Pulock was able to hit, the net, sure, it might be a little better. And we had a trigger man for that power play. We could maybe have Josh Bailey on there. I think he does certain things well, but shooting the puck, yeah, not one of them.
They did something I like to call dual masturbation, where they would just pass it back to one another, just pleasuring themselves along the sideboard at the point. And to me, it just, now you want to know, I'm going to tell you, at every single game, I yell at the TV, I'll yell something, Josh Bailey, you, every single game.
That's exactly the verbiage it comes out, right?
Yeah. Bailey, you.
We got to give Kim a lot of credit too, because when she goes live during the games, and I say she's always calm and collected. She's able to analyze what's going on well. And people have asked us, "Hey, can you guys do a live game?" I'm like, I don't want to be thrown off the air. I can only imagine what Trump is doing when he's watching these games live. I hear him telling me stories. I don't want to test it out.
It's like I said, some games are better than others, but some players feel my ire every freaking game. But I do say funny things also.
I bet you do, but I also bet you say a lot more angry, negative things than funny.
I am always in showman mode when I watch the games. Maybe if you had one of those 7-second delay things, would be good.
I could cut
a permanent bleep. Just every time.
Yeah.
And when you say something funny, I can unbleep you there for a moment.
There you go.
Brian P said, "Absolutely, Grump. That's why we're smart. We're smart. That's why we can admit that the Rangers will be good for a long time. Gallant's a very good coach."
Right, and that doesn't mean that I'm a Ranger fan. I'm worried about the Flyers this year, and I despise the Flyers, but I'm worried about the moves they made. Worried about them, legitimately worried, because going into last year, everyone was picking the Flyers to be a playoff team last year because of how good they played the year before, but they didn't have the sand. They didn't have the extra weight in their pants, the sand, the grit, whatever you want to call it. They didn't have it. They went out and remedied this situation. I don't think Vigneault is the greatest coach in the world, but I think he's a guy who could certainly advance you a few rounds in the playoffs. He's been to the finals a couple of times, just hasn't won a cup. He's been to the finals more time than Barry Trotz has.
I tell you, I've always the complaint I've had about Alain Vigneault, no freaking passion, none. Again, he's a I think he's a really good coach. He did great things with Vancouver. He's done great things everywhere he's been. I just don't feel like he's got a lot of passion.
Montreal.
I feel that.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying, like, hey, every coach I feel like has areas where they can improve. They have their strong suits. Passion is not one of his strong suits. No cap. No cap, brother. Don't forget, no cap, gang. Brian G said, Tampa series could have went either way. I disagree. Tampa isn't that much better. Probably was 2 games. We got shut out. It can't happen, especially at home. It was, hey, I'll tell you.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. Yep.
You can't get shut out. You can't get shut out twice in the series and expect to win.
Toby O is saying, there's my IslesGirl Twitter friend.
What's up, Toby?
Michael T wants to know, Grumpy, you got that Jack Eichel jersey on pre-order for the Rangers?
Man, Michael, you know what? He's, whatever. I like Michael.
Michael in there saying, what's up? Love, Grumpy. You look phenomenal.
Thank you, Michael. You're the best, baby.
Shout out to Isles Misery as well. Oh, goodness gracious.
Love Michael.
Hi, big bro.
I didn't want anyone to know that he was your brother.
Paul O.C. said, we're in a very strong division. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington, the Rangers, Philly, and us. If we don't get Tarasenko, we might not make the playoffs. And yes, Rangers will definitely make Rangers will definitely make the playoffs.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take. I'm not saying that the Rangers will definitely make the playoffs. I think the biggest concern for me, besides Carolina to me is an absolute lock to make the playoffs.
Yes.
I don't want to say that Pittsburgh and Washington are too. The thing that worries me about us in particular, is the 82-game schedule, the number of 3 games in 4 nights, the number of back-to-backs, and the fact that we are an older team. Those things worry me because I feel we're not going to have the legs like we didn't in the pandemic year where we kind of hit the wall. And I'm afraid that could happen this year. That's my biggest concern about us.
I think it's not to mention the 13-game road trip to start the season too. But
here's the thing. A lot of people say, it's good for bonding. I don't think this team has to worry about bonding. I think we're about as tight a team as we're ever going to be. I think all these guys truly love one another. They work hard. We don't quit. Islanders never say die. There is a reason why that's the name of this podcast. And it's just the MO of this team. I don't know if it helps us or hurts us.
I think it helps us. I honestly think it helps us. I think every fan knows. I think we are a home team. Definitely, we come to play when we're at home in front of the fans, and when we're away, like you saw it against Tampa Bay. Sometimes we just like the 8-0 game. Just like what happened to us. Get these away games out of the way. Get these away games done. Like the beginning of the season, you're below in the standings. It doesn't mean crap, like until much later. Get these games out of the way. I think we can do at least well on the road. And, we're starting on the road. Just get it over with, get it done. And then we're going to have all these clustered home games. And I feel like that's going to be in our favor.
Now, Kim, you know who our first home game is against Calgary.
Calgary, yes.
And then who do we play the next night at home? Do you know?
I believe it's the Rangers.
No, it is not. It is Toronto. And our pal John Tavares coming back. And then 2 days later, the Rangers.
Yeah, okay. So the Rangers were the third game. Excuse me.
No, I'm just saying. But that's an interesting first 3 home games.
It will be. It's going to be Calgary. It's going to like, man, but we're going to enjoy UBS. Toronto, I mean, obviously the team's got the bad blood, obviously, due to the fan bases going at each other. I just enjoy it. I'm there with the popcorn just laughing at it. But, and then, of course, Rangers. Because it's going to be a fun the first 3 opening games.
I don't want to see more Ranger. I don't want to see more Ranger fans than Islander fans. That's what I don't want to see.
I think the hatred for Toronto, I think in the fans has subsided a little bit. And because I think we've been so successful that it's easy to be like, oh, okay, I don't have any issue with it. I mean, it would be different if we were a team that was in the cellar and Toronto was winning cups. We would be livid still. I just think that we've had so much success. I don't even think about them. It's like their little brother. I don't even pay attention to them.
Honestly, one of my best friends is a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. So it's just like, it's nothing to me now, but I feel like it's still going to be like a pumped up night because we still feel like we just still want to prove ourselves, I feel.
Absolutely. Alan Street said, Ratu sign thoughts. I think he's going to stay in Carpat. I don't think he's coming to Bridgeport. I think he just is probably just going to stay overseas and play next season.
I love him. I think he's going to be great.
I hope so. I loved his draft pick where he was picked.
Absolutely. Rob A saying, you guys rule. Appreciate it, Rob. Absolutely. Moving right along here.
Moving right along. That's another one of TJ's catchphrases. Moving right along.
Moving right along. You know what that is, Grumpy? As they say something and I'm like, okay, I've only looked 2 or 3 comments ahead. I have to go ahead and scroll real quick and speed read everything. Mario said, the best player on the New Jersey Devils team, the Trap.
Yeah, but they had some guys who could play on that team too.
And Donald Weaver there said everybody wanted either Tampa in Colorado or Tampa in Vegas.
Tampa in Colorado. Yeah.
I think either of those would have joined. I think either of those would have.
NBC would have loved that.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, they certainly weren't rooting for the Islanders to make the cup.
Literally, everyone was saying, you saw on all social medias, people saying if the Islanders and Habs made it, it was going to be the most boring Stanley Cup final they've ever seen.
Yeah, I did see a lot of those.
Not for Islander fans if we would have won.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Greatest Stanley Cup ever.
The greatest cup since the glory days. D-Cut said, get a 10, TJ. We're going to start calling you Casper.
And why would we call you Casper?
What was that?
Why would we call you Casper? Why?
Simon Holm. Hey, I you know what? I'm gonna have to start being a big supporter of Simon Holmstrom if I can get the name Casper. Then I'm gonna be Simon Holmstrom's #1 fan. Call me Dirk C. I'm gonna be a Simon Holmstrom supporter. Then, Grump.
Well, that's fine. You can be that, and D-Cut and I will be the fans of the Three Amigos.
Oh, goodness gracious! Brian P. also said Turgeon was my dude. I hated Scumbag Hunter.
Yeah, that was tough. It was such an. I mean, not even within. Not even within like the play, you know what I'm saying? The play was over. They scored the goal. Oh yeah, that it reminded me of Youngblood, where
you finally saw the movie name.
Yes, I finally saw the movie. Patrick Swayze scores a goal, and then the guy goes up and scoops this thing and crashes head on the ice. That's what it was like, kind of like that.
And then Donald W also said here, did you guys like the Islanders reverse retro jerseys? If not, which reverse retro jersey did you like from the other 30 teams? I'll say one thing. I hated the retro jersey. I thought we could have done so much more with it.
It was just like another jersey. I would have liked to see them because a lot of young people like them. They like the fisherman jersey. Kim got one of those.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
I like them.
I knew Kim was going to like them. She likes anything the Islanders put out. Anything.
Not true. Not true.
All right.
I hated the fisherman.
See, I like the fisherman. I would have loved that for a third jersey. For a third jersey, I like it. It has to be something
fisherman right here.
I think that jersey gets a bad rep.
Thing, like at first, I like clean, I like traditional, and at first it's kind of underwhelming. But when you saw them on the ice, come on, like to me the logo popped. I really thought on the ice these looked very beautiful.
Now, is that a Pajot jersey as well?
Maybe.
Oh, John Pajot.
There you go. My whole thing is,
I was kind of scared to get Casey because you didn't know the contract situation, and we had Pajot for like 5 more years. So I was like, let's go safe.
Heads in your bet. You just threw your man on the bus.
I know. Well, I was scared. You don't know with Lou.
All right. But here's the thing. No, I do know Lou. I knew he was coming back. But the whole thing is with those third jerseys, the whole thing is to sell merchandise. I mean, if you have a jersey that
I understand why they would go with that, and that's where I understand completely, like going the fisherman route to please your audience kind of thing. They would have sold very successfully, in my opinion. Just God, it would. There's a portion like with me with the fan base that would just like inside would just feel like my heart crushing seeing them wear them again.
Now, here's the thing, Kim. I'm going to let you know I have a Brian Berard fisherman jersey. I have it. It's right upstairs in the closet.
I will never own anything fisherman. My brother loves it. I mean, that's what he grew up with.
He's so cool.
And I can get the nostalgic factor of it. You grew up with it. You love that logo. That's what your first, Islanders logo, stuff like that. But I knew, we got away from being the laughing stocks in this league. How hard we worked to be not the laughing stocks in this league. And everyone would be fish sticks.
See, I don't let that stuff bother me. That was Ranger fans. But here's the thing. I didn't realize your brother Michael was so cool.
Because he likes the fisherman logo. I like the fisherman logo too. I wish we would have brought it back. Even if people hated it, I'm like, I would have bought. I don't have any jersey. Oh, actually, I do have a jersey. I would definitely have bought a fisherman.
Even the mascot was scary.
Yeah, I was not a
Niles.
It was Stan Fischler.
Stan Fischler dressed up in the outfit.
I thought it was creative.
Hold up.
She's got something. I know she's got something.
As we're waiting, D-Cut, I'll show this. Maybe the same person who created the Bridgeport. Oh, here we go. Oh,
yeah.
What fish sticks? Who wrote that book? I remember seeing
about that. Yeah, that guy looks like a deranged lumberjack.
He does. He's very scary. And they literally he just disappeared. Like I remember Nick telling me, Niles just disappeared one day. They got rid of him. He just disappeared.
Did they still have Sparky?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I wish he'd disappear.
Sparky the Dragon is awesome.
What does it have to do with New York Islanders?
Who cares?
I just want somebody to pump up the fans, Grump.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? What does Gritty have to do with the Philadelphia Flyers? He's an icon in himself. I think Gritty. I wish we had something crazy like Gritty would be. No. Not gritty, but crazy like Gritty would be, where it's like
Gritty would scare, if I had kids. He would scare the kids.
He looks demented.
He looks like a Muppet that went wrong.
He's got one of those disposable bellies that you can go ahead and roll around.
Yeah, he has that belly. Oh.
Or he fell into a vat of toxic waste, and you get Gritty.
Yeah.
But he looks like just pretty much everybody from Philadelphia, really. Men, women, children. All of
them. D-Cut saying maybe the same person who created the Bridgeport Islanders logo will make the Grumpy's Groupies logo.
Oh, no!
We may maybe now for the Dirt Nap.
You know something to think about that. That's going to be Grumpy's Groupies, and it'll have R.I.P. and whatever date I die. That's what it'll be. TJ's been pumping the t-shirts that he's going to sell for over a year now?
No, it's been at least 6 months.
It's been a year, man.
Has it been a year?
It's been a long time. I told you, keep it simple. Grumpy's, picture my face, groupies. It'll sell like hotcakes.
Paulo said, it's like, Kim, nice to see you on a podcast. I'm getting tired of these two old guys.
Wow.
I'm glad I've been grouped up in the old guy category.
There you go.
Associate with, you are the company you keep, right, Grump?
Okay, I will just say that Kim does certainly add an aesthetic value to this podcast.
Are you saying that we're not the lookers, Grump? You said that you're always the hot guy on the podcast, Grump.
I am.
Chanting that?
But Kim's better looking than I am. I admit it. I speak the truth.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then
she's certainly better looking than you.
I appreciate it. That's true. Da Bihad said, if the Islanders have the cash, re-sign Pulak now. Don't wait.
I agree.
He signed like a 5-6 year deal.
No, this is the last year of his contract at $5 million per. Then he's unrestricted free agent next year. My suggestion is you sign him. You try to get him to a 6-year deal.
I thought he had a longer contract for some reason.
No, that was another Lou. That was another Lou blunder. Signing a guy as a restricted free agent to a 2-year deal, right to get him to unrestricted free agency. So you can get him for $7 million or $6.5 million for 6 years, something like that. I think that's optimal. But I would try to do it now before. I would not let him get to unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm reading this one. D-Cut said, Met Snow, he's a royal scumbag. Hopefully he has a painful death.
Oh my God.
D-Cut, bring in some fire. Hey, our fans mix it up, I guess. I'll listen to the podcast, mixing it up. D-Cut wants me gone. He wants Gar Snow to have a painful death. Man, oh man.
I told you, Kim, we run with the rough crowd over here.
And then Drew S said, didn't John Riggins wear 44 for the Jets?
He did, but he was just an average player for the Jets, and that was before Reggie Jackson. Remember what I say, the greatest number 44 in New York sports history since Reggie Jackson, who was there till 1980, 1979, and Riggins was there in 73, 74, and then he was gone. Went to the Redskins and, became a Hall of Famer. Typical Jets, isn't it?
William Ciel said, I must say, I love the trio, TJ, Grumpy Old Man, and Kim. Hopefully you guys do more live streams together.
I don't think Kim wants to get herself associated with us long term.
I was about to say, she's got
Would I have come back today?
Well, here's the thing. I would take you on this podcast anytime. I love having you on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we always love it. And
but again, we never, we don't want to,
drag you through the mud.
You have your own thing. I understand.
No, you never impose. You guys never impose.
Good. I'm going to impose all the time now. You made the mistake of saying that I had no problem. Okay, that's a mistake.
Michael B said, missed a show. I have to check it out in the morning. Just want to pop in, show my appreciation for your Islanders coverage. Appreciate that, Michael. Thank you,
Michael.
Absolutely. And then Paulo C said, Bailey did score 1 goal against Tampa. Grump, I didn't know that. I always expect you to be honest and accurate, Grump, but he did score 1 goal against Tampa. It was in game 4. It was a nice goal.
All right, I'll have to check. I didn't think he scored anything against Tampa. I didn't think he scored anything against Tampa.
I totally forgot he even scored.
It was probably a nondescript goal.
Oh, Brett W said, nope, there's still hate there, TJ. Screw that pajama boy. Okay, I guess I'm not tuned in with what's going on with the fan base then.
I guess some people are still kind of mad about it, but I don't know. I'm over it.
Listen to me, Kim.
That's me started, Kim. You better get me started.
TJ is still butthurt over that.
I'm not butthurt. I'll tell you.
And now he's going to go for the next 10 minutes telling you why he's not butthurt.
I think the reason I'm upset is 100% valid. And I think every Islander fan feels the same exact way I do. And this might be me. This is my tunnel vision. But again, I don't care that he's here. I just wish we would have been able to trade him for parts. Thomas Tatar, that same exact trade deadline, went for a first-round pick to the Vegas Golden Knights. Are you trying to tell me we couldn't have got a first-round pick plus some if John Tavares wasn't on this team? And he gave us that sorry, sad-ass excuse, if I want to still be the captain, I want to lead the team. Yeah, okay, that's why you left the year right after, right? Still want to be the captain, still want to be on the team, right? Be honest and be forthright with what you were doing because you knew you were leaving the entire freaking time. And we didn't get any draft capital for you to replace your ass. Imagine if we did have that first plus. That does piss me off. I think it should piss off every Islander fan because his deceitfulness cost us building our pipeline. It should piss you off too, Grump, because you always complain that our pipeline isn't strong enough.
I'm so glad you're not still butthurt over that situation.
I'm not.
But thank you for the 10-minute soliloquy once again. I agree with all your points, but I don't care.
Oh, it was a nice goal. Wow. Yeah, I just watched the Bailey goal.
Oh, was it a nice goal? Okay, I'll have to
set up by Brock Nelson, got into the zone, did a spin around pass across to the right circle for Josh Bailey. He put it right top, bar down.
Did it look a little bit like this, Kim?
Actually,
all over the place.
It was a nice snipe.
Blind squirrel meat nut. Josh Bailey scores a good goal.
Brett W.
Like I said, though, inconsistent.
Brett W. said, I'm with Kim. Fisherman jersey sucks. And
Not a boy, Brett.
we're on a save wavelength about the Fisherman jersey. That would be a wonderful third jersey. So a little different there with the lighthouses on the shoulders. Yes.
Yeah, there you go, Michael. Yeah.
No.
This is, I'm sure it's for Grumpy. Matthew C. said, I hated James Patrick's hit on LaFontaine.
Yeah, but it still wasn't the same level as the Hunter hit. That was worse. It was.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm going to pull it for you, Grump, because Kim said it was a good goal. I'll make sure I pull it up. And
I just don't want to show it on screen if it was like, copyright.
Oh, don't worry, TJ. When he wants to prove a point to make me look bad, he has no problem whipping his nimble little fingers up there. Oh, look at this, Guppy. Look at this. See? Hey. Look at that. You are wrong.
Is that how I do it?
That's how you do it.
Alexander,
the highlights go to 335.
Okay. I'll be pulling that up for us. And then Paul is also saying, Grumpy, I agree with Kim. No Fisherman jersey, please. We looked like a crap team. We were, and we did not look like an NHL team.
Oh, man, that's 2-1 now. Look at that. Oh, man.
I hit the laptop. I was so happy.
I'd tell you one thing. There is never anybody who rides the fence about that Fisherman logo.
Oh, you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
And then
I don't hate the old jerseys, but I like that as a third. I loved it.
D-Cut saying Wednesday's podcast sponsored by My Pillow. Well, it won't be this Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. We will not be going live this Wednesday.
Are we doing a podcast Wednesday or no?
No, I'll be out of town. I apologize, Grumpy old man.
Maybe you should announce that to the listeners.
Yes, listeners, I know I'm just mentioning this now 3 hours in. I'll be out of town this next Wednesday, but we'll be going live probably Tuesday in lieu of the missing of the Wednesday podcast.
Well, thanks for letting everybody know this.
Hey, those real loyal guys, you stuck around for 3 hours. We'll be going live.
You need to go to howtopromoteanything.com.
I need, promotion for dummies. I need to go ahead and invest.
You don't need to promote it for yourself. You need to promote it to the smart people.
Oh, goodness. Let me co-host the show with Grump. D-Cut trying to move in. D-Cut's trying to
I would let D-Cut co-host with me, but I don't know if he can. Seriously, D-Cut. TJ's the only one who knows how to handle the board. This is, the extent of me doing anything on this podcast is me sitting on the couch and talking. He does everything else. I hate to give him credit, but credit is where it goes. Kim could probably do it. She's smart.
She is smart. Gotcha. Moving right along here. Yeah, no, not in the Gordon Fisherman jersey.
Thank you, Robert.
Finger down the throat. Oh, goodness gracious.
Boy.
I know I'm out on an island with this, but I don't care.
Hey,
down with the ship.
I like it too. I'll trust you, Kim. That highlight was a hell of a highlight, a goal by Josh Bailey. I think it was too. Now I'm thinking back on it.
Do you want me to put it up?
Yes, Kim, put it up because sure. TJ can't do it. And here's the thing: I don't know how she does it, but she's able to get it up there. TJ, just make Tim bigger.
Here we go. I'll have it pulled here in a second. It's going to take. Grumpy. I just have to remember. I got to keep everything going. So I just want
to here.
Oh, I do remember this goal. I've
got it pulled right here. I apologize.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate you getting it pulled. Let's see this one more time here, Grumpy.
You went too far. Okay, you're going the wrong way.
I want to see the replay.
Okay.
But Brock Nelson sets up a really great
I do remember
pass
this goal.
by him.
It was a good goal.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Just sniped. Boom. Right to upper corner. In the toy department, as Butchie would say, or the grumpy old man.
In the toy department.
Making grumpy.
What was something unusual there that Josh usually does not do when he's on the ice?
Make a move.
He actually took a shot.
I knew Grumpy was going to say that because he always says that.
He did make a move, but he took a shot too.
Oh man. Yeah, absolutely Grumpy and absolutely Kim. We're about
you got to put up Brian's.
You want me to do?
Yes.
Brian saying she's smart. Not like people say.
She wants respect. She was looked over.
Talking about Fredo and The Godfather. I watched
The Godfather Part 2 this week, and I tell you what, great movie. And I use that line all the time. I say it to my wife all the time, the warden. I tell her, "You're smart, not dumb like people say. Deserve respect." I was walked all over, Mike. That's the way Pop wanted it. I didn't want it like that.
God.
And then he just goes, what else can you tell me? And you see Fredo just I'm defeated. Poor Fredo.
Oh, man. No better way to end the podcast than a good old Godfather reference.
And,
Go
you know,
ahead.
I think I only mentioned Tom Brady once today.
I don't think you did at all, but now you did.
I did.
He
There we
did actually.
Oh, I've become
When we were
amused.
talking about Chara, he's not like 44 years old like Tom
See,
Brady.
Kim pays
tuned it out.
attention. I pay attention. to what
I
Kim
tuned
says.
it out, Grump. When you say
He
this,
pays attention to what I say.
I pay attention to what Kim was saying. I'm sorry, Grump. When you tell me the same thing, you talk about Tom Brady, you hear about Tom Brady on our Saturday podcast, a Sunday podcast, a Wednesday
What's the
podcast.
Sunday podcast? Can you tell me again what the
Jane
Sunday
the Grumpy
podcast
Old
is?
Man podcast, Grumpy. You know
What
that.
time is that going to start tomorrow,
You know,
Sunday?
8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Grumpy.
So around 8-ish. Let's see if we can actually make it happen at 8.
If it's delayed, it's Grumpy's fault, not my fault.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I want Kim to have a chance to plug everything. I probably should. I linked everything in the description below. So again, like that's how you'll find her. But I'll let Kim also plug it where she
Please, because I don't see anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
I told you that's not Grumpy. The description, you have to click the drop down button. It gives you all the information.
Whatever.
I tell you this. Just trust me. Okay, it's linked in the description below.
Well, thanks guys again for just having me on and letting me just talk hockey with you. I kind of missed it. I've been on the hiatus from the podcast, and just getting life in order and stuff like that. And I'm doing a concert tomorrow for cancer research, so
Excellent.
just stuff like that. I really wanted to focus on and get my career started in nursing. So I really do appreciate you guys having me on tonight. But if you guys want to chat with me, I'd love to chat with you guys on Twitter. My Twitter handle is exactly what it is on the screen right here, IslesGirl3. You can also find my YouTube there. I have all the vlogs from this past season. You can go see that Game 6, last Nassau Coliseum home game right there on my channel. So you can go and watch that vlog. It's a really, really fun experience that I like. And it's something that I'm so glad I was able to capture to not only remind myself, but to share with other people. So definitely go and check that out. I also have other vlogs, a vlog where I met Robin Leonard. So you can go and check that out too.
There.
But guys, thank you again so much. And probably towards September or October, I'm going to be starting up my podcast again, which is going to be Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There it is. I was about to ask you, when are you starting back up your podcast? And then number 2, how is the nursing going since you started up in that career?
Yeah, so I passed my boards, so I'm officially a licensed nurse. I'm looking to go into labor and delivery department. That's what I loved. I did 100 hours on a labor and delivery floor at Huntington Hospital. So I've been looking for a job there. Manhasset has an opening, so I'm applying there. And yeah, so I'm going to be probably starting it up around September if some things get jumping. Very close towards the season. Once we have our roster that's determined, we're in maybe towards training camp, just starting to give my predictions about, what do I feel like the Metro's going to look like? What do I feel every division's going to look like? What teams do I think are going to make playoffs? I do my, yearly predictions, and then I compare them at the end, and then, just hop into it and do what I love to do, which is talk hockey.
Absolutely. Brian P. also saying great show. Shout out to Al's Misery. Alexander saying awesome show, guys. Stay blessed, you guys. Brian B. saying great show again. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Grump, I want you to have a chance there to give your last few thoughts.
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and I'm going to throw Kim in there because she's been a wonderful guest. Tommy Baffy didn't get a mention, but Kim certainly does.
Tommy B is going to murder you, Grumpy. I heard not only is he in the business of being a nighttime janitor, but I heard he's got also a side job. So I'm not saying that job
He's in sanitation is what you're saying. Okay,
he's in the sanitation department.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's the sanitation of individuals who speak out against the Islanders, Grumpy. And there's a top person at that. That's all I'm going to say, Grumpy.
And tomorrow, TJ and the grumpy old man. Please tune in.
Yeah, and absolutely. Again, thank you everybody who tuned in, watched us live, and listens to the podcast. Again, Grump and I are 2 Islander fans, and so is Kim that love talking to sport, love talking hockey. You could find, again, everything that Kim has there, Twitter, YouTube, all linked in the description below. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Grumpy Old Man and Kim, for joining us today. I know it was a 3-hour and 20-minute grind. They're a long time, and I appreciate the devotion you guys have to being on this podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you guys there.